This is my attempt on doing SAT practice test 8 on Bluebook. Practice test just came out. It literally came out yesterday. And so like I've never done this test before. And this would be genuinely like my best attempt at trying this. I'm trying to get a really high score. And the reason why I'm recording myself doing this and trying to explain how to solve these questions and like basically doing a walkthrough is because this is what helped me the most when I was studying for the SAT. About like 3 years ago, when I was studying from the SAT and when I went from a 1300 to a 1540, 1550 super score, was watching somebody else do the test in front of me. And it was a video, and what helped me the most was I would do a question myself, and then unpause the video and see how that guy did the question and look at the differences between what we did. So that's what I strongly recommend you to do yourself. I would actually put on accommodations and press breaks as needed. That way you can actually like pause the test when you need to. And what I would do in your shoes is I would do a question, pause the test, and then watch how I solve that question and look at the differences. Maybe I solved the question faster than you because I used like a method you didn't use. Maybe I got a different answer than you because of something I noticed that you didn't. And figure out the differences between how we solve these things and learn from that and gain insights from that. And this is really helpful because you're not only just learning like how to solve the question, you're also learning my problem solving skills and how I approach each question as well. And that's sometimes that matters way more than how you solve the question. Like the process you use to solve the question usually impacts your score the most. Okay, let's try to solve these. So the strategy wise, I'm gonna do the second half of the test first. I'm gonna find grammar questions, like the first grammar question, and it's usually around question like 15-ish, so midway through, a little more than midway through. But I'll go there and finish the test, and then go back to the beginning. Or I might do reading comprehension and then like do vocab and like use vocab as a break. As so like reading comprehension questions, what I mean by that is it's always going to go from vocab, which is around like question 1 to 4, and then questions like 5 through 15 is usually like reading comprehension, like really dense stuff and really annoying to get through, at least for me. And then after that is like the second half, like writing section, like grammar, transitions, and bullet points. I want to do the second half first. Those are usually easier for me. Then I'll do reading comprehension and maybe do vocab as a break in between. That way I can like rest my mind a bit because vocab is slightly like at least for me it's a like slightly less mentally tasking to do vocab questions than reading comprehension. Okay, so again I'll try my best to explain exactly how I'm solving these questions, but again it is a time test. I'm trying to get a good score. I know like my score is going to be like impacted, like I'll take slightly longer to solve these questions. I'll try my best to like try to balance both things. Okay. Oh yeah, I would like to say I took practice of 7 yesterday, and I didn't do as well as I wanted to. So I'm probably not going to post that video. But what happened was I got a 1520, and I got a perfect score in everything. I got everything right except for the second module English. So I got 800 in math, but I got 720 in English. So the second module English, I ran out of time, and it was because the test was way harder than I was expecting it to ever be. I knew it was going to be harder than what I was used to, but that was like super hard, and I ran out of time, and like I missed a lot of questions at the end. So I learned my lesson. I'm gonna not talk as much in the second module English if possible, but if I do talking, it's probably because like pacing is good. But as soon as I realize that, like I'm off pacing, I'm gonna focus and try to make up the time. Okay, let's try this. Um, Question 15, no, 16. Okay, this is where grammar starts. For grammar questions, I always look at the answer choices first because answer choices tell you what to do next. But these answer choices just tells me that it's a tense question, so I need to figure out what tense it is by reading the passage. Okay. By the end of 1990s, the organization blank its initial member. So this is a past tense by the end of 1990s. And this is the only past tense answer choice. That's simple enough. Past tense and past tense. And the other ones aren't that. This is present, this is future tense. So you have to match the context to the answer. Okay. These questions, this is a pronoun question. Usually it's always it with they, basically. It's pretty much always going to be it with they. And you just need to figure out what subject the pronoun is referring to, figure out the subject singular plural or not, and match it accordingly. So with this one, we need to figure out what's exhibiting. And this artist depicted natural beauty of national park in 2 memorable woodcuts. Okay, and the woodcuts is what's exhibiting, and woodcuts is plural, so you pick they. That's plural. Okay, that's it. It was singular, so you don't pick that. This question should be pretty simple. This is title and name. I call it title and name shortcut because anytime you see a title in a name, I might actually start it. Title as in like usually it's like profession and a person, so this works out perfectly. But title and then like the name that the title belongs to, there shouldn't be any commas in between here. And there could be multiple names as well. Like just two people, that's fine. But there shouldn't be commas in between title and name, so you could just eliminate these right away. Now between C and D, uh, this is a list of two things, like this guy and this guy. So you don't put a comma in between. It's only when it's a list of multiple things, more than two things that use commas in between the items. But for this one, you don't put any commas. Okay. I'm surprised this type of question is in the first module. Usually it's not. But anyways, you check the answer choices first, so touch what to do next. This is really important. You should always check the answer choices that has to do with independent clauses before and after, or or just like independent clauses before. Like those answer choices, they're way more likely to be right. So for example, semicolons, there has to be independent clause before and after for semicolon to be right. So you check those first because it's way more likely for these to be right. And you want to do questions that is way more likely for it to be the right answer because you can solve the question faster if you find out to be the answer. Okay. Anyways, there has to be independent clause before. And when I look for independent clauses, by the way, I always find by subject and verb. I don't just read it and then say like, oh, does that sound like a sentence? If so, then it's independent clause. Usually that's not as accurate as you would believe. But finding subject and verb is usually much quicker and more accurate. So Scott Heron himself, that's the subject, resisted the Godfather nickname. So resisted the verb, the subject and verb. And usually the verb is like right next to the subject as well, the next word after. Okay. There's independent clause before it, basically, subject and verb. That makes it independent clause. And it also has to be a complete thought, but that's a complete thought too. Okay. This part, feeling that it didn't encapsulate his devotion to the broader African American blues as well as largest. So that's not an independent clause because there's no like subject. It starts with a verb basically, and it's not an independent clause. And the monocle he provoked, that's just the subject. So this is a good point. A lot of people, I feel like if they just read the monocle he preferred, they might think that's a complete thought. They might think that that can stand on its own as a sentence. The problem is that actually can't. That's just a thing. It's like the monocle he preferred. It's just a thing, the monocle. We don't know like what the monocle did though. So there's no verb there. So that's not an independent clause. So this is why finding subject and verb would help you a lot for a lot of these questions. There's no independent clause after, so you could eliminate the semicolons because you have to have an independent clause before and after for semicolon. There's also a semicolon list, but there's no list going on here, so that's fun. And it's C then, because if you see a transition word, however is a transition word, anytime you see a transition word, there has to be some kind of punctuation before and after it because that transition word is always a supplement. I call it supplement. Basically, there has to be a comma or like a semicolon or like a period maybe before and after it. And there's no punctuation right there. But this one has commas before and after, so let's see. Okay. And you always check the answer says do independent clauses. A colon, for colon to be right, there has to be an independent clause before and some kind of example for the explanation after the colon. But basically, independent clause before, so you check that one first because it has to do with independent clauses. Okay, the number of jams available for tasting varied. That's an independent clause because the number of jams available for tasting, all of that's the subject, and what it does is it varies. So that's the verb. Independent clause, and it's a complete thought too. And some shoppers had 24 different options, others only 6. So that's an example of, or like an explanation of how it varied. So it's definitely a colon. Independent clause and further explanation after. Okay. Um, you should check the B first. You should check for a semicolon first because there has to be independent clause before and after. So you check that one first. Galen's use of term referenced. So I think this is the subject. The reference is probably the verb. TV shows practice of practice for narrative. I'm sorry, the TV show's practice of this for yeah, okay, that's an independent clause. And then after even shows that varied only slightly from other shows, that's probably the subject. Still attracted size bonds, that's a verb. Okay. Yep, independent clause before and after, so it's B. See, like the past two answer choices, this one and this one, the first answer choice I checked was right. And that's most of the time it's gonna happen if you just always check the independent clause answer choices first. Okay. Transitions. Although those who migrated to California in 18 dreamed of finding gold nuggets, late rich deposits were buried deeply in rock, beyond the reach of individual prospectors. In 2019, many had given up. So it's probably cause and effect because this is like the riches are so hard, the gold nuggets are so hard to reach. Many people give up. And for what large companies, yeah. So like because it's so hard to reach, they have to go to large companies that can reach those things. So consequently, it's cause and effect. And you have to know what these transition words mean. So you have to do a lot of these questions to get experience on what these transition words mean, and also you have to make sure you understand its passage really well. And that's how you can solve these questions. Basically, like 100% accuracy. Okay. In 1974, a Mexican chemist and this chemist discovered that chemicals called were harmful to the ozone layer. The research was extremely influential in the fight against CFCs. It laid the foundation. So this sounds like it's some kind of explanation or like an example of how they were influential. So it's like zooming in on the previous sentence and that specifically then, because it's like it's going deeper into what's previously said. Okay. Oh, there's only two transition questions. Okay. No fun. Okay. The student wants to emphasize the order in which Alaska and Hawaii became US states. The order in which these two places became states. A does that. The 49th state became a several state several months before, so like this thing happened before, so that's the order of that. So that checks out. So again, for these questions, you notice I didn't read the bullet points. I tried to answer the questions without reading the bullet points. Bullet points is the last, like worst case scenario, where if you do like two answer choices that does what student wants, then you have to read the bullet points as like a tiebreaker. But I don't do that. I try to figure out, sorry, I do that. I try to figure out what the student wants and then try to answer it purely based on that and try to not read the bullet points until I absolutely have to. Okay. This doesn't mention anything about states. The states joined the US did so. This doesn't mention, I mean, it mentions states, it doesn't mention the order of what happened. It says it the same year. Maybe, but like it's not Alaska or Hawaii. You don't know, so it doesn't match. It doesn't mention about Alaska and Hawaii. The same day that Hawaii became a state, this doesn't mention anything about Alaska. So it's to say. Okay, next. Mm, I had to go a bit faster. Oh wow. Okay, I am way behind time. Okay, sorry. Let me go faster. Student wants to contrast the. I don't know what that means. Doesn't matter. Of effective fiber with data silicon. So we need to contrast these two things of these things. We're looking for these and that. We're looking for the contrasting of does this thing about these two things. Got it. The tree was determined by analysis of each method. So that's not like comparing. It's just saying like a method that doesn't have anything to do with contrasting the two things. Is equal. There's nothing about metafibers and silicon, carbon fibers. At different rates. Does that count? I don't think so. It's not comparing. It's just saying the different rates and to use both environments. I might hold on to see. Whereas the effective fibers had a sensitivity of just 0. Observed large amounts of heat resulting. So that's definitely comparing. Like this emissivity is this and this emissivity is this, and like they're different. So that's comparing. But C might I'm like 90+% sure it's D, but I might put V just in case. I need to move on. The student wants to emphasize the role a misconception played. Interesting. A misconception played in the role of naming a place. So this misconception caused naming a place. Okay. Known as nothing about misconceptions. Nothing, no misconception. There's no misconception. Yeah, it's D. Okay, yeah. None of these mention misconception. Thinking it was an island is a misconception. So this is the only one that does that. So I think it's 26. And just to make sure, yeah, it's a misconception that played a role. So like because of this thing, they thought it was an island, they named it California. The peninsula called it Peninsula of California. So because they thought of this, that's the misconception played a role. Okay. Let's move on. He wants to emphasize the aim of the research study. Okay, is it orbited the moon like the data that was later analyzed by. No, that's just like the method that happened. Wondered if the moon was receiving someone's oxygen. No. Oh no, that could be right. Yeah, like maybe that's the aim. Set out to determine whether I think that's more right, but I'm between B and C. Studies named ascending a. Okay, that's like what happened, not like the aim, not the purpose of the study. Okay. We're stuck between two. Is there a different? I think I swear they're saying the same thing, weren't they? Like Moon was receiving so much oxygen from Earth. That doesn't tell me where the so much oxygen was coming from Earth. That's they're saying the same thing. The only difference actually is the 2008 he analyzed. Um, that doesn't tell me before. I think it's C because it doesn't mention before 2008 in here. I'm actually not sure. I'm gonna look for a view. Oh shoot, I am very low on time. Okay, let's do like question 11. Now work backwards, and then we can do vocab, and then we'll do like the last four questions here at the very end. Okay, because the last four questions usually are the really hard, like from 15 to 11. Those are usually really hard. So really hard. So I want to say those at the end. Okay, let's quotation. Students claim. Let's find students claim. Students criticizes one historian claiming that they have evaluated this guy who is the prime minister primarily as a symbol rather than. Okay, so we're probably looking for this. And also the critic, so he's like denouncing. No, actually, I don't know. Criticism sometimes doesn't mean denouncing, but symbol rather than terms of action. We're looking for something like that. Okay. To the stocky conflicting opinions he inspired during his life and continues to inspire today. So I don't think there's enough symbolism here. I just it doesn't match that. Makes it clear about his career. Cool, but like that doesn't. It believes nothing of his actions was symbolism. Can be passed over quickly. Practical accomplishments that could be actions can be passed over. So passed over quickly probably means like it wasn't that important because you can just glance over them. So yeah, that matches. And then his personification of, and so that could be symbolism. So I think it's just C. But like this part's symbolism and this part's the actions. And then many questions remain. Questions remain. Okay, this is nothing to do with actions with symbolism. This is like uncertainty about something, but doesn't matter. Okay. My things. Let me shrink this. Okay, there we go. I need to. This is a detailed question. Okay, about memories. Oh, well, let's just read that thing. First performed in 2006, lived on an island with father. Say that Miranda likely does not remember anything other than her life on the island. Okay, what the heck? I hate this. Tis far off. Rather like a dream than insurance that had I not for. Okay, I need to focus. I hate poems. Like I hate old. Like I sucked at Shakespeare stuff in school. Okay, this far off, rather than a dream, like a dream, endurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not. So this person had like back then they had five women. Rather like a dream. Okay, they're like sure that this happened. Those hats and more. So you had more than than five or four women. But how is it that this slide's going? Like, how do you remember that? What else? What seat thou else in the dark backwards in abyss of time? Okay, if thou remembers art, what? What the if you remember out thou chemist here, if you remember coming here, how you comest thou here thou mayest. Um. Okay, I actually don't know what that's saying. Okay, oh well. I'll try my best. Miranda's reminiscences about Elias have a melancholy quality that portrays her this kind of view. I don't think there's anything about the tone. I guess the tone was the tone here melancholy. I feel like there's nothing here that's like negative. Right? Melancholy is like a sad thing. Portrays her content. I mean, he was kind of sad, but like not here, not the childhood thing. But this kind of view of her is current. I don't think that's right. It portrays her. Okay, this kind of view of her current circumstances. Wait, I need to understand what that means. Betrays her discontented. No, she. I don't think. No, like it doesn't betray. Yeah, this wasn't melancholy, and no, like it wasn't sad, and then like I don't think it was. This is like guessing stuff. This is like inferences you have to make. It's not actually what the text says. Okay, doubts about the accuracy of one recollection placed rather than clouding her judgment, and seemed to nothing. It doesn't say anything about clouding her judgment. I think I swear he's like questioning why she can't remember this. Not like we don't know what's clouding her judgments, and like she's not even making judgments here. Like judgments like decisions. I don't think she's making decisions. Ability to summon details of experience she had is that she may have um. Is that what I was saying? Ability to summon details of an experience she had before arriving. Okay, C sounds. I'm not sure. I can't understand what this is. Like I'm so confused. I definitely need to spend more time on this. So I think C. I'm not sure. Let me eliminate D. Because C is remembering the scenario she had daydreamed about. No, this did happen. I'm pretty sure it happened. Like this style. Okay, there's nothing about this was a dream. The process elimination has to be C, and it makes sense that this could be what this is saying. I'm gonna look for a review though. I'm not 100% sure. But I eliminated the other ones. It might have been A, but I really doubt it's A. Okay. We are definitely. Sorry, I might go silent here. I need to focus up. Even though it's first module, I'm really carried away. Okay. Mm, okay. So unexpected, like rather than television, her book mattered way more, and his book, the book did stuff. And the book is an important contribution. That's not exactly what I came up with in my head, because I think that might work. On many different positions over life. No, nothing about that. Groundbreaking didn't receive the praise it deserved. No, nothing about praise was or like praise in this part. And then had worked. No, it has to be A. And I think A makes sense. Like, this is all about the book. You notice like everything, other than the first sentence, everything is about the book. So I think the manager is definitely the book. Like the book did this, the book did that, the book was on admired. Yeah, like the influence of the book basically. Okay. Um, overall structure. I hate scientific stuff. What is this? The um 6 point around with stars in there. Okay. So there's like a cool way of doing it. Okay. So it's like something that's is only at night, but they actually found a way using like animals, inspired by animals stuff. They found some way. Okay. Yesterday on most navigable tools utilize the NPC resource discovered. Um no, it's not most navigation. It doesn't have anything with navigational tools. I don't think. The alternative method used by certain animals. Was there anything about alternative? Oh, wait, celestial based method of navigation. I don't think there's anything about navigation, right? I swear, no. Um, that's how we use it. There wasn't accuracy at all, so definitely not B. And then it's just an alternative way. Okay. Explains how it's typically okay. So typically located only at night. Check. Emphasize the key difference between how humans and animals use. Yeah. So some insects this that could be animals, and then alternative way inspired by using the implicit proof. Yeah. Oh, navigate. I'm not sure about navigational instruments though. Um, observing astronaut mentions the navigation ability of certain. and then using it to mimic. Yeah, this works. Mimics that. So they inspired by this, they did that. So I think it's D. Okay. Here, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How the heck am I going to finish this in time? Okay. There shall be new roads wending, new beating of drum, and I shall fresh sing. And they, okay. Like happy and then sad. Okay. By rewarding and challenging, repetitiveness, they shall come. So that matches, let's say. I just go fast. You guys can see what I have to do when it doesn't work. Overall structure of the text. So PDF of companies to offer. So I'm trying to read the last sentence and just like getting the answer from that. Difficult for companies to overcome. So there's difficulties basically. Okay, let's see if there's something with difficulties at the last part. Then there's some potential applications that may have contributed to that success. Proposes challenge. With your benefits, in turn, the company's profits, that's benefits. Still, so benefits and parts. So it's probably this one. And then so I just like read the last part and read the last sentence and see like what corresponded. Like because like this first part probably corresponds to the first sentence, but we can just like do it from the last part. Okay. Okay. Researchers and conservators stress that biodiversity loss due to invasive species is preventable. Can take simple. Yeah, this is like examples of preventable. Okay, like they could do a lot of stuff to prevent it. During 19th, but influence was hardly something in Spain. We listen. Oh, what's happening? He's a leading artist. Okay, he's very famous in Spain, around the world. So he's not limited. So confined to. Yeah, that matches. His stuff. He's elsewhere in the world as well. Okay. Um, is perhaps the best known of the few examples. The few. Wait, I'm not comprehending. Shoot. Many writers prefer working alone. Oh, so it's the opposite of working alone. And given that working together, so they work it together. So like collaborate. Oh, really collaboration. Okay, we got it. Um, two quarterbacks are sweet green, bunch of sweetgrass to make that no factory. So like they made it themselves, handmade. Oh, okay, that was easy. One. Okay. As Mexico's first president from an indigenous company, most probably like important in the country's history. It sounds like important among the most significant, yeah, significant accomplishments. Like important. Oh, important. Perfect. Okay, I'm glad those were simple. Okay, I saved myself some time there, so I have 7 minutes to do four. That's possible. Let's do this. Okay. Um, I remember this question actually. This was in I think it was practice one or something, but it was one of the old practice tests. I'll try my best to explain this though, but I don't remember the answer actually, so it's been a while. Okay, basically. No, that's just done. Okay, okay. Dusky sharks do not typically consume, but do consume. So the dusky sharks, they eat um the rays, the sea rays, right? But the sea rays eat the oysters. So what's happening is if dusky sharks goes up, that's gonna decrease the sea rays, which is in turn, since there's less predators for them, that this is gonna increase. We have to look for this relationship. Okay. Actually, player other than with regional um with regional declines. Nothing about regional declines. I feel like oh wait that okay. Um Eastern oyster abundance tend to be greater near both resource and I think that's tends to be greater in areas with and so like when this happens this should be lower. Yeah. Yeah, when dust happen, this should be greater. So dust greater, this should be greater, as we found out. That's one. I'm trying to support, right? Yeah, support consumption and time increase before the regional decline. What the heck are we trying to support? Where's the decline? Led to decline in oysters. Okay. Um, I think it's D. Yeah, as we said, like because D goes down, C goes up, which causes E to go down. Decline, yeah. So it declines, lets to declines in this. So it's D. By occurrence rates increase before the regional. Okay, no, I not on time. It's D. 13 to 3 more. Okay, let's do this. And produce off Broadway, a revised version of the music premiered on Broadway in 2019 in a larger production. I need to process. Okay, revised version. Okay, so they like made a new one. Theater enthusiastically praised the music storytelling. He's seen the earlier version, and I found storytelling to be very confusing. Wait, so did he found like the earlier version confusing? Okay, so if I had to come up with my own answer, I always try to come up with my own answer for these. I think he's like, I don't have time now. He like the revision was better because the old one was confusing. So it improved. Oh, perfect, great, improved between 2016. Yeah, so that matches. I don't have time to check the other ones. I got lucky there because that matched. Hopefully that one was right. I'm not fully confident. I need to eliminate the other ones to be fully confident. Okay, which choice completes the text? In some manifest recovered from excavations, which mainland credence claims was founded before or around that time. But I just didn't process anything I just read. In some artifacts recovered from. Hmm. Okay. So at times like this, I'd like to try like making a picture of what I'm reading in my head. That way, like it forces me to focus. That may lend credence to there is other evidence, however, strongly supporting. Okay, so they like I'm right now picturing like archaeologists like finding stuff and showing, oh, it's 13th century from here, but then showing evidence that um it actually started in 14th century. So that's not possible. If both are correct, that can't be possible because like if it started 14th century, it doesn't make sense for it to have stuff from 13th century. Okay. I'm not sure what the what's going though. Artifacts more commonly recover that artifacts from the 13th century. No, nothing about it doesn't say anything about like the frequencies, like how much artifacts were what. I think this matches. Like yeah, like I said, it's not possible. So like, this had to not be from these guys. It had to come from somewhere else. So probably B was founded by people in the region. Um, no, why am I? Uh, I don't think so. Like it's undoubtedly it's already like for sure that it was founded this time. Okay, I need to move on. I'm gonna do this one. I can come back. Um, which was birds of many species, ingest foods containing this pigmented molecules. Oh, I remember this question. I swear I've seen this question. Colorations tend to, and it's probably from old practice test, to communicate, which is known as honest signal. Okay, so the colors could show how like the color more deeply saturated means these birds are healthier, and this lets mates like female birds see, oh, this bird's really deep colored, so they must be healthy, so I'll mate with them and manipulate. But like these birds, they can manipulate light and they can create a deeper saturation without the birds necessarily having to maintain a curtain over its side. So basically they can deceive females because they can like usually if you have this deep saturation solid, it's only a minute. I need to choose the answer. Can engage in honest signaling. So not honest signaling, it's dishonest. Can be less effective. I have 40 seconds. Deeply for wait, they're not signaling. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe yet to determine why teenagers have a preference for mates. No, that's not. It's dishonest. Yeah, they're like lying. A dishonest signal of individuals' overfitness. So yeah. I have 20 seconds left. Basically, they're lying about the thing. Like normally, if they're deeply saturated, they have high colors, but these birds can make deep saturation without being healthy, so they could like lie. Mm, okay, I mean, time's up. What went wrong there? I think I just spent wasting my time in grammar, so I need to like, stop explaining the first half and really focus on. Okay, let's do the same thing. Let's go to grammar. Oh, perfect. Okay. This is really cool. I call this the R1's out trick. Basically, if you look at the answer choices for these verb questions, if you go, this is the only singular verb. The other ones are all plural. So because it's the only singular verb, this must be the answer. And this works every time. It's 100% accuracy on the SAT. And it's really cool trick. You can answer the question almost instantly. Okay, yeah. Again, you check for the independent clause one, so colon. Independent clause before. Let's look for that. Researchers studying have determined why some soil dwelling would move in the opposite direction searching for food. That's the independent clause, okay? And often this is like directions, right? So I didn't like fully copy it, but like the directions and this seems like directions is probably some kind of example. It's a we're moving on. Um, that question looked familiar actually. I think I swear it was the previous question. Practices. Oh yeah, we look for this one first. The independent clauses. Okay, as cheese making practices certified Europe and Asia doing in the strategy for preserving milk and words. That's the independent clause. This is the independent clause. Um, uh, whereas became key, became common. Um, so it's like divergent. There's like something to you, something to you. It's like examples of divergent strategy. So it is an example. And the independent clause before it that works. And like so far, the independent clauses always were correct. Okay, this is another R1's out trick. You notice this is the only ing verb. These aren't ing verbs. I noticed this always works as well. Same thing for like the verb things. Like another verb R1's out trick you can use is if there's only one ing verb and the other ones are like regularly conjugated verbs, then you can just pick the only ing verb and it works out. And the reason why is because this makes this additional information and these are like actual verbs and they're testing you on the fact that there can only be usually there's only like one main verb per sentence. So there's only like the subject can only do one main thing, like one main action. And if there's like you can't do multiple things at once. The rest of the sentence wouldn't flow. You can't like the subject does this, and later on you have like another verb the subject's doing. That just doesn't make sense. So this is the only one that makes sure that there's no two main verbs. Because I'm assuming, yeah, the main verb here is reflected. So like if you put included here, it would be included and then reflect. It shouldn't make sense if you read the entire thing either way. Okay. Anyways, I spent too long. I need to go faster. Um, English poet and speaker contemporary John Donne's works were much admired. Shoot, this looks hard. I hate verb tenses. In the decades follow. Okay, when you use had, by the way, had is when there's two things that happened in the past. You put had in front of the thing that happened first. Because if normally if two things happen in the past, you don't know what happened first. But if you put had in front of the thing that happened first, then you know which one happened first. Okay. Much admired during this time. So I'm looking for just two things because it's past is past. I don't think it's works. Yeah, I don't think it's that. That wouldn't make sense. So like there shouldn't be any commas. So you can eliminate these. It's between these two. Um, had been it's time. Okay, so I think this is happening, which happened after this. So there's two events. I'm really not sure. I need to move on now. But there shouldn't be commas there because it's just a thought. You shouldn't like interrupt this thought with commas. It doesn't make sense. There's no additional information going on there to like put commas there. Okay. Oh, I went out to it because it's because like this is the only singular one. These are all plural. It's B. Free question. Okay. Moving on. Um, a firefighter uses specialized. muscles to draw oxygen into its lower abdomen for navel tubes, triggering a chemical reaction whereby the oxygen combines with chemicals in fireflies to produce a glow. When fireflies stop drawing oxygen, the reaction, so they make a glow and then they don't make a glow. So contrast, I think it's contrast. It's like direct opposites of each other, before and after the sentence. The before the blank and after the blank, those are they're complete opposites of each other, so it's contrasting. Okay. Upon first approaching artist, a colorful scene painted on the surface of cobblestone street, one might assume it be Paul filled with life-size classical style. Okay. By expertly applying the principles of perspective with Millie. But I think this is also contrasting. So like this life size, they think like this thing open like this real thing happened, but actually it's an illusion. So it's contrasting. It's like it diverts expectations. So it's the opposite of what's said here. Contrasting. Um, okay, let's keep on going. Then there's not many transitions. I'm usually good at transitions too, which sucks. Okay, the student wants to emphasize the distance covered by Philadelphia and Lancaster Turnpike. The distance between. Okay, here's a distance, 62, and yeah, so that works. Was the first turnpike. That's nothing about distance. Um, was built between. Nothing about distance. I mean, this is connected these two cities, but I don't think it emphasizes distance at all. But it's historical road. No, so yeah, that one's simple, I would say. Okay, next. Explain the advantage of the women in the vote format. Okay, we need the advantage of this format. Got it. Feature a drawing of a tour of several rooms containing. There's nothing about an advantage, like the format or the advantage. Okay, to access audience had to no. That's just like what you had to do. Nothing about advantage of that. Format appeal to the audience. Oh yeah, there we go. This format appealed to audiences. That's an advantage because it allowed them. And even explains it too. Yeah, it explains it. Perfect. Um, using in creating and play without. No, it's just like the format, but I don't think it's a play about. Yeah, it doesn't say an advantage or it explains that advantage as well. You have to make sure that sometimes it says explain. You have to just because it talks about it doesn't mean it explains it. You have to make sure it actually explains the advantage, which C does. Okay. He wants to refute a claim about malappointment in the sorting. Okay, what the heck does malappoint malapportionment? Okay. Refute a claim. So you need to disprove favoring urban. Okay. So something about not favoring. Wait, in the yeah, no, something about not favoring urban districts. Created creating unfair advantage for smaller. So this is supporting. Wait, we need to find bad stuff for this. This is good for unfair advantage. I'm skipping this question. This is too hard. I need to come back to this. I need to prioritize speed. That's like so complicated. Like I didn't understand anything. He wants to present the study in his methodology. But this one's simple. Study and the method. Okay. Reveal the ducklings into the line behind it. Whether I need focus. Okay. That's what it revealed, not this the methodology at all. Okay. Extends how thinking. So that could be like presenting the study. I guess what the purpose of the study is. Behind the saving used computer. So this is what they did. So it's B. You need to make sure these are one too, though, because maybe it's multiple things to do this through once. You have to be the bullet points then. Study the physics behind the facts that by. Um, no, it's not like how they did it though. That's just like the study. It doesn't say the method though. Discover that ducklings are pushed in the forward direction by the waves of their mother's wake. No, that's the finding. Okay, that one was simple. Nice. B. Okay. Emphasize the aim. Oh, again, this is pretty nice. Aim of the research study. Researchers at wanted to know if woodland expansion is okay. That works, right? Like this is the aim. They wanted to know, so that's like what they tried to do. Thanks to work done by we now know. So that's the result. No, we need for aim. Have I mean, no, that's the result. No. Analyze core examples. That's like what they did. So this is the only aim. That feels too easy. Oh, I can't hesitate. I need to move on. Let's. What seems simple? Okay, let's start right when graph questions end. Right here. Oh, I remember this question. I've seen this question before. Okay, let me walk through it still though. Um, we need to. It's something about responding to the crowd. So I did look out for how he responds to the crowd. Okay, a crowd was gathering outside and blowing an official who reports to Lloyd. Okay, okay. There's like a crowd outside right now. A man who's excited, fun. So like for these, I like again making the mental image, especially for literature passages. You can make like really vivid images of what's happening, and that helps a lot with comprehension. So like right now, I'm picturing a man who is more excited than the rest, fleeing. So like this guy's waving his hat around and shouting. Like this makes it way more easy to comprehend. Because for some reason, it's like easier to make a mental image in your head than it is to actually comprehend the words you're reading. But by making a mental image, you have to understand what you just read. So it basically tricks your brain into understanding. So it's really helpful. Try it out. Okay. The voice for the subway. Everybody voted, but what it was for the subway not clearly appear. Some were shouting bread and some shouting taxes. So what's happening here is there's just a lot of people and they're like shouting, they're fighting for stuff, but they're like it's not clear what they're shouting for. Like some bread and some taxes. They're not seem to know what they don't really know. It's like kind of uncertain like what they want. It doesn't seem like they're like all over the place basically. All this I saw from the open window of Woodman's house, looking across the shoulder. Okay, this guy's actually there. I thought it was just okay. Yeah, this guy's there. What can it mean? He repeated to himself. I never heard such shouting before. Time too. It was such. So unanimity means like coherence. So you should see like a discrepancy between this and that's like they're actually not unanimous at all. They're like all over the place. So we're looking for, even though he claims to know nothing with the student. It doesn't say anything about like what the student. He literally says what can It's literally he does not know what the crowd wants at all. So it's not. Actually, yeah, he doesn't know. Okay, he indicates a desire to speak to class, even though nothing about speaking like wants to speak to the crowd in here at all. It was a symphony. So you have to find specific textual evidence for that. But you should be like point to this word and point to like a word in here and do that for every single word in here. And I point to some textual evidence for every single word in here to to prove that it's without the right answer. You can't make any inferences about stuff. Okay, I'm talking too much. Let me hold up. Emphasis sympathy for the crowd's demands, even though the crowd's no, nothing about sympathy. He's just like annoyed. Or I don't know if he's annoyed or not. That might be inference. But um yeah, united, even though the crowd appears at us. That's exactly what I said. Okay, 6. I know I spent too much time on that. That might bite me in the butt. Okay. Um okay, so when companies merge together, when they combine into one, mergers will benefit by increasing efficiency and therefore lowering prices. Investigate notion in the context of the United States. Sorry, I need focus. Focus. Okay, so he modeled mergers and found that prices actually increase. So they originally thought prices would decrease if they merge, but actually prices increase. Got it. Um, instead research on short-term effects. Okay, which tend to be a voice for consumers. Using the case for long-term efficiency gains do results. So this guy's like how he responded to this is probably your thing was short term. Like if you expand it long enough, it's actually beneficial for consumers. So this guy, like you need to consider the long term as well, not just short term. Okay. Compared to the near term effect versus with the effect of merger in another. No, nothing about like nothing about like other markets. I feel like. Yeah, like you need long term. He has to mention the word long term or something. Oh yeah, they'll argue that over the long term, that's according to no, no, that's even if it says long term, it's not expenses increase, it's the customers benefit more long term. Um, or prices decrease or something like that. Or investigate whether this over an extended period. Yeah. So like does this increase in prices and subscription prices, if it longer term would it still happen? Like that's what they said in text two, and basically what I said. Okay. have a different effect on consumer prices than in most other industries. Yeah. Okay. I didn't comprehend what that said. No, I can't. I need to. Yeah, I'm not going to eliminate it. So if I come back, if I have time to come back to it, I'll look at that. But ideally, eliminate everything. I'm just not fast enough. Okay. Underline sentence. Shoot, it's novel. Okay. John is a child who lives in town and woods. Okay. Time to activate my imagery. Perhaps 10-year-old John was puzzling to the folks. Okay, he's puzzled. He's a very odd child. What's wrong with him? Food is going to be on his pinks. Okay, so like imagery of like the river, a bunch of things on the river, wandered to the river, watched them all sail away to stream the area of the wildwood. He wanted to follow them, so he wants to leave his place. Okay, so this is like saying why he's weird, basically. Because yeah, okay. It's his insights on why he's weird. Prevent extended description likes to visit. No, I don't think so. Like that's like here. I think reveals the residents of town. No, not why they're confused. It's just like in the workings of John's imagination. Compared. No, it's not comparing to other children. Experience a larger life outside. Yeah, like he wants to follow them. He wants to see the wide world. Like goes to the wide world. So that I didn't see the wide world when I was reading this, but um, I see it fits the larger life thing. Okay, glad that was simple. At least for me. The vector stone Hojo. I remember this question. I remember these answer choices. Television's tendency to is either or like it's one of the odd questions. Odd answer choices. Okay. Tendency to situate native characters in distant past. This rejection is evident. So for vocab questions, my goal for vocab questions is to try to find an equivalent idea. What I mean by equivalent idea is there should be like a synonym to this blank somewhere else in the text. It might be like a demonstration of the blank though, but there might be synonym. And for this one, rejection. Rejection doesn't fit proclaims, doesn't fit foretells, doesn't fit recant. Proclaims like I proclaim this. Recants like I recite this thing. Like you recanting a poem or something. Like you're talking about a poem. Foretelling is like predicting. I mean, that doesn't fit rejection. It repudiates that should seem like repugnant. Actually, I don't know if that fits, but you try to think of a similar word that means the same thing. I'm not exactly sure what this means, but it probably fits rejection. Like repugnant, it's like probably a negative connotation. It just sounds like repugnant to me. So it fits. I'm not sure if that's the right answer, but and also look for unusual punctuation. You see that colon there? There's a reason why that colon is there. If you look after the unusual punctuation, that's usually like where the equivalent idea is, like where the important part of the sentence that you need to look at is. Okay. The author's claim about the relationship between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens is something, as it fails to account for several recent. So like it's not good. That's basically it. Like it fails to do this. Okay. Yeah, like to be so like it's the opposite of convincing right now. Disorientating, confusing, maybe tenuous. I'm not sure what that means, but it's like not clear or like not for sure. Wait, that's really okay. And then nuanced, unoriginal. No, it's not. It doesn't say like it stole stuff. Nuance, no, not complicated. So it's definitely, I think tenuous. Disorientating is like you're like dizzy or like you don't know what's happening. But I don't think it really says that like it's hard to understand. It's more just like it's bad. Like it doesn't account for this stuff. So tenuous probably fits. Doesn't fit disorientating perfectly. Okay. Two. In art, with voices of a singer and composer to produce a piece that critics found truly something. They praised for creatively transforming. So something creative is probably inventive. Yeah, it's like look for the equivalent idea again. Like right after the colon, there's probably some kind of word is there, and then creative. It's like they said this was creatively trend. Like this person is being praised for being really creative and transforming. So inventive, like creative means inventive. I could read this just to make sure by protecting fluent images of Copeland into a. This is like what he did. I don't know if that's good enough. Oh, it's her, but what she did. Um, Anyways, I think it's event because it's creative. Okay. System known as the Three Sisters, maize, squash, and beans. form in blank web of relations. Maize provides the soil. Squash covers the. So it sounds like it's like very complicated design and or very fascinating. You could I don't know. It's like this is a demonstration of something indecipherable. Maybe it's like complicated, right? Or ornamental. Ornamental is like you put ornaments. It's like decoration. This isn't decoration. It's definitely serving a purpose. So no, obscure. I think I swear it's the same thing as indecipherable. Like those are the exact same. So like those can't be right. So it has to be intricate. Yeah, intricate fits. But I don't think I need to fully eliminate indecipherable. Yeah, they literally like showed you what's happening. So there's no way it's like not comprehensible because they literally like comprehended it and like told you what was happening. So it's not saying I think it's more like an inference you're making that is really complicated. And it might be, but like nothing there's no synonym to complicated here. And this is just like a lot of things going on. Cover the sword, scourging. There's like, a lot of things going on, so it's definitely intricate, I think. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11. Ah, shoot. I'm running out of time, aren't I? Dang it. Okay. Mhm. Let's claim. Okay. The more informed voters are about politics, the more confident they are. So what I'm trying to do is just like find the claim. So I'm supporting the claim. Let's just find the claim. So the claim that likelihood of voting is driven in part by potential voters' confidence in candidates. Essentially, the more informed voters are about politics, the more confident they are at evaluating whether I need to comprehend. Shoot. Okay. Focus. Picture what's happening. Likelihood of voting is driven. Let's see. The more informed voters are. Okay. So the more they know, informed leads to voting. Like they're more likely to vote, they're more informed. Got it. And on this graph, high, low. So if they're high information, they have a higher percentage of voting. And literally every single one, the dark one is kind of good. So we just look for something like that. High information was more likely to vote than yeah. So for each point, oh, it's perfect. Say, I'm not even gonna bother check it. I'm running out of time. I need to go through this stuff. Okay. Okay. Support the suggestions. Let's look at the suggestion. Suggested right there. Let's read this part. Was an estimate of dinosaurs' bite force may be significantly influenced by the methodology using generally. So this method causes this, and on the graph bite force method. So like I'm looking for like this the method changes this. This okay. These are the same. These numbers are pretty much. So I'm looking for um something to do with like 2019, 2012. Oh, there's no dates. Like uh why this study? Shoot, Muse. Oh, it's a second name. So I need to look for study and this study. I'm just looking for because like, these are the ones I'm looking for. These are really similar. So I'm just comparing this and this one and how they're similar. Okay. No, no, right there. Okay. Rates and costs were similar. Perfect. What areas of this and that were different? Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'll move on. Um. Okay. Wants to undermine. Okay, be careful. Undermine means challenging or like weakening the hypothesis. So I need to do the opposite of what I usually do. Okay. Hypothesis that damage to algae roots increase the plant's rate. This in turn. Okay, so um, boost genetic diversity. Okay, so damage leads to good health. Damage increases rate of sexual. Okay, got it. Damage leads to this, which leads to that. Um, some sites are found near otter populations. Uh, shoot, what does otters have to? Does otters damage it? I think it's otters that are damaging, right? I need to scan for otters. Otters damage the roots. Yes. Okay. So I think like the more otters there are, the more health there should be. But we should weaken that. So we should look for otters there, but health going down. Okay. Small and have only recently been reintroduced. And some sites in the No, I don't think this has anything to do with like just because it's small. Like we need to look for the health decreasing. Let's mention health. They are large, but no. Okay. Um, that doesn't mean like the alkalis matter's health is decreasing. Maybe it just like went there in the first place. As ever sites correlates. Okay. Negatively correlates means it's opposite of. So if this thing goes up, the next thing goes down. So health goes up, negative correlates negatively with the length of yeah. Let's see. Negative correlates is like when one thing goes up, the other thing goes down, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Like this one says when this autos happen, when they damage the things, this goes up. So when that thing goes up, that goes up. So to undermine that, we have to do one going down when one goes up. So let's see. Okay, I'm not bothering being the other ones. If I had more time, I would definitely verify and eliminate everything, but I'm in a time crunch. Normally, I would have enough time too. I think that's because I spent too much time explaining. Okay, let's support Parody's argument. Um, so what is his argument? Argue that while some Spanish influence is undeniable, Mexican flow is mainly the product of ongoing interactions. So what the heck? So Spanish, so like Spanish influences, but it's mainly like region interacting, cultures interacting. I think I remember this question. I swear this was like a question I've done before. Um, yeah, so I was looking for not Spain, but like interactions. Uh, a type of poem. Yeah, I just remember this question. It's B. Like collected had some region from region. So like, this is region to regions interacting. I'm kind of cheating because I like remember this question, but then again, like this is the best I can do. I just remember the answer. Um, but it was interactions. Did I explain this one? I don't have time, but like ongoing interactions instead of Spanish, and this is like ongoing because region to region they're interacting. So they're, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong actually. I'm just gonna move on. Okay, is it was supporting the claim? Okay, supports data. Um, in conjunction with observation that resistance to P, that resistance to P correlates with this. So when that thing goes up, that thing goes up as well, but it's not necessarily affection suggests that. What the heck does? I think I need to read. Like, this is one of those where it's like so complicated you have to read more. Um, and most of the time for these questions you don't have to read the entire thing, but I'm think that question's too complicated. Okay, if I have time, then you come back to it. Which most likely completes the text? Some economics have attributed the increasing adoption of automated technology by input being achieved by automating tax. Okay, so automate tax requiring paid labor. Recently confined development by showing not only how often unremarkable, okay, but there was discrepancy in the US tax codes in automation. Okay, so they originally thought that technology, that people are adopting technology because it it gets rid of like need for labor. But actually there's tax codes that help, meaning reduce tax burden relative to tax labor costs. So like basically like taxes, like the way the government made taxes is encouraging people to adopt. Not the fact that technology is better than labor, but because they can earn more from the taxes, or they spend less from taxes. May be based on overestimation and probably associated may be based on a overestimation. No, I don't think so. Yeah, ongoing. Um, Maybe driven more by the fact that yeah, so indirectly incentivized. Like the taxes that government makes is incentivizing them. homes adapt to technology then by ongoing. Okay. So basically try to come up with your own answer and then hope that one of them matches. But even if it doesn't match, it just helps to like fully understand by coming up with your own answer. Like coming up with your own answer forces you to understand this. But I just got lucky and matched. Okay. Um shoot. Okay, anterior, posterior, head to tail. Okay, so starfish are unique, normally typical, particularly puzzling sea problems, yeah. Equal ones. Body, okay. Okay, so they found lots of only interview genes across. So they originally thought that um there was a headless there. There were like wasn't head involved. Like the evolution didn't come from heads. But when they did a scan, they found a bunch of anterior, which anterior, posterior. So anterior is heads, and posterior is tail. But they found a lot of anterior genes, a lot of head genes. And so it's like diverting what they originally thought. And there's some puzzles only at the edges. So it's like the opposite. They originally thought it was no head, but now it's actually most head, mostly head. Um, minimum corresponds. No, I'm looking for like previously rather than ongoing changes resulting in venture which head plan previously assumed evolved to complete a lack of trunk. Yeah, so like rather than us doing this as previously assumed right there, as headless layout was previously assumed, actually they do that. Theme matches. Okay, I have a better chance of doing 25 than 12 was crazy. I didn't understand anything. Once the feed the data that Nell appointment waiting favors. But I need to guess though. Let me guess something. C. Lucky C. Okay. Favors small urban districts. Um, I'm looking for favoring small urban districts, but not favoring. Okay. Over overrepresents less populated. So I can't focus with the timer. Shoot. Let me just get C again. Common feature. I don't think C's. Oh shoot. Okay. I messed up. I ran out of time. It wasn't as bad as Factor 7. I ran out of time on two questions. I couldn't like fully understand them. Got my bad. I lost focus. But also I took too long in talking. I'll do another one. I'll like the questions I got wrong, I'll make sure to go over those. So like I'll probably like at the end of this recording, I'll put in like the questions I got wrong and also the two questions I like didn't fully answer, I also justify why those are right at the end. That way like you can check for yourself why those are right. Or like what the right answer is and like how to solve them. But I'm just like sorry I didn't have enough time to answer them. Okay. Um should I break? No. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might split this into a separate, like I might do like English one video and then math another video, but I'm gonna start math now, and we'll just do this because math is like I'm usually really good at math. Like it's really rare I don't get a perfect score in math actually. Okay, let me pull up the calculator, and so I should be able to take my time explaining stuff. Uh, um, and we don't need this. Okay, so what I wanted to emphasize in math is Desmos is king. Like use the calculator. This Desmos calculator, it's amazing. Use this as much as possible. Basically, any question to do with equations, you can solve with Desmos. If it has anything to do with equations, you can just probably way solve with Desmos, and you just need to get good enough at using Desmos to solve these. And I'll walk you through a lot of this stuff. But like watching me solve this, like you'll be amazed at how many questions I can solve with Desmos. But this one is really no point. Y-intercept is literally when it touches the y-axis, so 0, 8. So x-axis, x being 0 and y is 8. Okay. The function is defined. Okay, watch this. So equation f of x equals negative 3x. So if this equation, problem solve with Desmos. What is the value of f of x when x equals negative 9? Okay, so we need to plug in negative 8 for x. Fun fact, Desmos, you can actually just type in f of negative 8. It tells you the answer. It's 84. And they spit out the answer to you. So on Desmos, if you define a function, let me move this out so you can see it. Hey, as long as you define what f of x equals, you can basically just like do any operation, any function operations, and Desmos will do it for you. So we told Desmos what f of x equals, and then it knows, like it works in the background, and like, in the background it's going to plug in negative 8 for x for you, and it spits out the answer. So you can solve a lot of questions really fast by doing this. Make sure you define f of x beforehand, though. Don't just type in f of negative 8, expect it to give you the answer. You need to make sure you define what f of x equals, and only then will this work. You can also do like a lot of transformations, like x plus 2. You can like move this this graph up too. Like it does it for you. Like it's, oh, what does x plus 2 do? Does it shift it to the left or right? You see, oh, it shifts it to the left because like originally it was a red line. When I did f plus 2, it moved it to the left by 2 units. So you can see like, it does all the transformations for you. You can do this, it like does everything for you, all the shifts in the graphs. So you use Desmos basically. There's a lot of things in Desmos that you didn't know you could do, and hopefully this is something that opened your eyes. And you should definitely get really familiar with Desmos. Basically, I ban my students from using scratch paper as much as like unless like geometry questions or maybe like a few, man. But basically, like every single question, just use Desmos. Even if it's just like typing in the equation, like even do algebra in Desmos. But by the way, that you should never do algebra actually. Like if you have to do algebra, you're probably doing it wrong because you can definitely solve it with Desmos instead. And I'll show you things with that. But like even if you're doing algebra, I would still do it with Desmos. Like you're not supposed to do algebra, but even if you were doing algebra, like if you did like negative, like do like the steps, like step 1 and then write out step 2, right? Like just use everything in Desmos. I want to get super familiar with Desmos to the point where like you can just like see a question, oh, that's how I solve with Desmos. Like you first instinct is Desmos, not algebra. And that's how you can guarantee you can get a really high score on the SAT. And that's how I basically get 800 every single time. Watch me not get 800, and I'm gonna be super sad. But this is really important because Desmos allows you to solve questions that you previously couldn't have solved. Desmos also allows you to solve questions faster, usually, because it's like the speed you can type in the equation is how fast you can solve it instead of doing all this stuff. And most importantly, Desmos completely gets rid of silly mistakes because it's a calculator. As long as you typed in the right equation and you looked at the right thing you're supposed to look at, there's no way the answer it gives you is the wrong answer. It's literally calculated. You won't make any mental math errors. You won't like miss this would be a negative ever. So using Desmos is really powerful. Okay, let's move on. A producer is creating a video with a length of 70 minutes. The video call will consist of segments that are 1 minute long, segments that are 3 minutes long. Okay, I'm not confident. My brain's complete. I should have taken a 10-minute break. My brain's completely fried from reading. Okay, a length of 70 minutes. Videos will consist of segments that are 1 minute long and 3 minutes long. Which equation represents the situation? Well, x is 1 minute, so this is just a simple standard form thing. So x is 1 minute, so you should put x there, and then 3 is 3 minutes, which is y. Like 3 minutes is the y one. Okay, so it's 70. So yeah, so 1 minute long, 3 minute long, and then x and y is like how many segments of the 1 minute, 3 minute long. But the total should add up to 70. You should understand standard form equations and how to turn this word problem into an equation. That's really important. Okay, that was pretty simple. Hopefully you guys got that. A bowl contained 20 ounces of water. When a bowl is uncovered, another word problem. Okay. Amount of water in the bowl decreases by 1 ounce every 4 days. Okay, let's work this out. 9 ounces remain in the bottle. How many days has it been uncovered? So it contains 20 ounces of water. It went from 20 to 9. Okay, so 20 to 9. That means 11 ounces passed. And if it's 1 ounce every 4 days, we can just do 11 times 4 to get 44. That's simple enough. How many days has it been uncovered? Yeah. decrease 1 ounce every 4, and it decreased 11 ounces, so that means 11 times 4. Okay. Ooh. Dot plots with glow sticks, which compares standard deviations. So standard deviation is how spread out something is. Um, it has to do with the shape, like how spread out something is, or like how much something is not clumping, basically. The more it clumps, the smaller the standard deviation. But you see, the shape of these are the same. Even though the numbers are like this class B, the numbers are way higher. It has to do with the shape of like what it looks like, not like the numbers, by the way. So the standard deviation is actually the same for class A and class B because like the shape's the exact same. The spread out, like they're both equally spread out, basically. So the standard deviation is the same. And by each student, no, not less than, equal to, yeah, greater, yeah, so it's just equal to, it's B. Okay. These you can also solve with Desmos, but this is such an easy question that I feel like I'm not. F7 minus 6, this combine like terms. 7 minus 6 is just like 1, so x to the x cubed plus 7, so yeah, okay, so x cubed, so you can eliminate these. And then this negative is going to change that negative to positive, so it'll be 7 plus 3, which is 10. Okay, that's it. And you can check your work too. I'll show you how to check your work for these. So what you could do in Desmos is you can graph this, and graph that. 7x cubed plus 7x minus 6x cubed minus 3x. And then you can graph the equation that you think is the right answer and just look at the graph and make sure they're actually the same equations. You see right there, they're the same. If I turn this off, by the way, you can turn off graphs by clicking on like the left circle thing. So if you turn that, you see when blue one turns off, red's right underneath it. So they're literally the same equation. And you can zoom in just to make absolutely sure, but they're the same equation. So that means they're the same. Okay, so I got it right. In triangle ABC, because you might have made it like an algebra error for this, by the way. But if you check it with Desmos, there's no possibility you made any errors because Desmos is a graphing calculator. The measures of angle A is 54, the measures of B is 90. What is the measure of C? And the measure of C is that. Okay. So angles in a triangle should add up to 180. That's actually in your reference sheet as well. Like, right. Somewhere, yeah, it says the sum of the measures and degrees of angles of a triangle is 180. So all three angles has to add up to 180, meaning that if I do 180 minus 54 minus 90, that should equal k over 2. Because like this minus 90 will give us the third angle. 180 minus 2 angles gives the third angle. And it says the third angle is this. Okay? And the measure of third. So this is where Desmos comes in. Notice Desmos doesn't, there's an arrow that pops up. Whenever you have a single variable equation, meaning there's an equation equal sign, and there's only one variable in this equation. The one variable is k. What you can do is replace that variable with x, and then just look at the vertical line, because Desmos should graph you the answer now. It's going to give you a vertical line. The x value of that vertical line is the answer. It's 72. Basically, it solves x for you. So this is why you should never use algebra, because Desmos can just do the algebra for you. Any algebra step at all, Desmos just like does it for you and just tells you the answer. 72. Okay, let's move on. Same, oh, perfect, exact same thing. You just 3x, this is a single variable equation. Even though there's multiple x, there's only one variable, and that variable is x. Okay, so it's an equal sign, so it's the equation. There's only one variable, single variable equation. You can just graph on Desmos. Desmos will give you a vertical line, maybe multiple vertical lines, but the vertical lines would be the answer to the question. So you see here, -5, 0. Sometimes it doesn't let you click on it. You have to zoom in on the number, but -5, 0, or 4. Those are the solutions. And 0 was one of them. So it's probably tricky. Like -4, that's really sneaky. But no, it's +4, -5. So make sure you don't select those. It's 0 for sure. Okay. Chemist combines water and acetic acid to make a mixture. Volume of 56. The volume acidic is 10. What's volume of water? Sorry, I didn't comprehend anything. Let me focus. Okay. So they combine water and acid. So let's say the amount of water was X and the amount of acid is Y. This has to equal 56. That's what it says. Okay. Let me show you next. Oh well, this is really annoying. I can't show you entirely. Okay, the volume acidic is 10. What is the volume of water? So we just said y is 10 then, because we said y was acid. So it tells us acid was 10. Assume that the volume in the mixture in sum. Okay, yeah, so it's just the sum. It really tells you to add these two up. Okay, so you just look at a single variable equation. What is it equal? 46 is the answer. Nice. Next question. The distance of 352 furlongs. Oh, I remember these questions. But in the paper, back when the test was paper, there's a lot of like random units, like furlongs. I think these are actual units, by the way, but it's like you just never heard before. And it was like all crazy stuff. But um, this is like an interesting one. 354 furlongs is equivalent to how many feet? So if we have furlongs, we can use furlongs to get to yards, and we can use yards to get to feet. So let's first get from furlongs, like how many yards? So one furlong is 220. If there's 354, you just multiply 354 by 220. Because each of them is worth 220. So um, that's how many yards there were. Okay, so now we know how many yards. Sorry, 77. I forgot you can copy and paste on here. 77880 is how many yards there are. Now we need to get how many feet there are. So for each of these yards, there's 3 feet. So we multiply by 3. And 233,640 there. Okay, that's simple enough. Next. Oh, equations. Desmos time. I mean, we've been always using Desmos, but y equals 2x plus 10, and then y equals 2x minus 1. So solutions, how many points do the graphs intersect? Let's just look at the graph and see how many times they intersect. Intersect means they touch, so they never touch. They're parallel. These lines are parallel. You can scroll all you want. They're never going to touch because their slopes are the same. Not know that. You can just look, oh, they never touch, so it's 0. Okay, let me just make sure I typed it in right. Yeah, I did. I typed in the equations right. Okay, I'm good. Oh, your mind's gonna be blown. Okay, a cool trick for these types of questions, when you even see the word is, just replace the word is with equals. Because is just means equals. If you see like was as well, it's replace with equals. If you see is or was, just replace that word with equals, and that means you don't need any brain power at all. You can just solve these questions by typing into Desmos as it is. So 13 equals, so is %. You can actually, when you type in percent, it actually automatically does percent of. So all I'm doing is shift 5, which is like the percent thing, and it does percent of for the percent of 25. Single variable equation. You can turn this into x and then look at, you see there's a lot of single variable equations. That is 52. It just solves it for you. So like Desmos can even do percents for you. I mean, you can also do it 13 equals some decimal times 25, and then you can look at the decimal and then, oh, 52%, like convert it back into percent. But you could also do it this way as well. Okay, next. That was 52. Okay, gives the number of bacteria in the, so this equation gives the number of bacteria in the population minutes after an initial observation. How many minutes did it take to double? Easy, 410. I know this because how exponents work is, this is the factor it's going to increase by. So when it says doubles, it's good. That's why there's a 2 here, because it doubles. Like that's the factor increased by. So because it's 2. If this was 3, it would triple, basically. So the number inside the parentheses is the factor the initial number is going to increase by. This is the initial number. So the number right outside to the left of the parentheses is always like the initial number, the y-intercept, or like when it starts out, how many there are. So this is the initial, and it's going to double every time. And this number, the exponent, is how many times it doubles. So every time this is a whole number, it's going to double that amount. So basically, like I knew it's going to double. Like when's it going to double? When this number equals 1. If this number was 2, it doubled twice. So 60,000 times 2 times 2, like double twice. If this number was 3, it would double 3 times, times 2 times 2 times 2. So we need to get this number to equal 1 because we only wanted to double 1 time. So what number would make this number equal 1? It would be 410, because 410 divided by 410 equals 1. That's how I got 410. Okay, next. Each year, the value of investment increases by 0.49. I swear this is a question in one of the old practice tests as well. but like they trick you with the percent stuff. Just because it says percents doesn't mean it's exponential. You have to actually figure out what it's saying. Okay, the value of an investment increased by, oh, it is exponential actually. So it's saying you could just like even if you don't understand this, you could just like try it out yourself. So by the way, be careful when it says increases by, you don't just multiply the percent to the number, by the way. You want to increase it. So if this is just if you do 100, I'm just do 100 because it's an easy number to work with. You could just like 100 is a starting number. It's really easy to work with. So I just like doing that. But we do this 0.49%. Actually, let's do this. 40, make this easy to understand. 49% of 100. That's 0.49. But this isn't like the actual number. This is how much it increased by. So you have to take the original number and add on how much it increased by to get the actual number, like the number it is at now. So we add on the original 100. That's the amount. And then we take this number, which is the new number now, and we take what happens to this. It's going to increase by 0.49% because like 0.49% of its previous year. So this was the previous year. So let's do 0.49% of that number, 100.49, and add it on to the original 0.49 because like, this is how much it increased by. So you add it to the original amount and you see it increases by that. And if you graph these, you will notice that it's going to increase exponentially. It might take a while to notice that because this is really small numbers, but it's increasing exponentially. It's not increasing by like a constant thing. It's not like adding on numbers as increasing. It's actually multiplication is how it's increasing. So that means it's exponential. It's actually increasing. I think a lot of people would pick decreasing because they think this is less than 1, so it's decreasing. But it's actually because it says increases, so it's increasing. You have to be careful of the word increases. It's not saying percent of. It's not saying 0.49% of value. It's saying increases by 0.49. Okay, let's move on. Circle in the XY has diameter with endpoints this and this. Got it. And equation of the circle is this. Okay, here's something really cool. You see these equations. You don't actually have to know anything about circles. You could just type into Desmos and basically finesse the question. Y minus 9 squared equals r squared. Got it. And then it has endpoints. It gives us points 2, 4, and 2, 14. So these are the 2 points it gives us. I just typed in that. Let's full screen this. Okay. So we need to find what value of r would make these touch the edge of the circle. Because the diameter means like the length of the circle. So we need to make sure these touch the circle perfect. Right there? No, not quite. 5. Let's write 5. Yeah, perfect. So I moved the size. So basically, when I typed this out, there was like an add slider button. You actually don't need to wait for the add slider button. You can actually just add slider, but you can actually just manually type in r equals this as well, and you can get that. It's weird. It's just like polar coordinates. Don't worry about like when you type in r, it's gonna like graph something for you. Don't worry about it. Just like delete that. Okay. You won't ever need to use that for the SAT. But normally r, you just define r as a constant. Normally you can just move the slider, and that's it. So when r equals 5, that makes it so that they touch perfectly. So you don't actually need to know that this is the radius, and like you have to find half of the diameter. So you would like calculate distance between these 2 points, and then half of that would give you 5. You don't have to do that. You could have just like graphed it, and then oh, when r equals 5, it perfectly on the circle. So that must be the answer. Okay, r equals 5. Next. In right triangle RST, the sum of the measures of angle R and angle S is 90. Got it. The value, so it's just the same answer. It's literally just 15 over 4. This is complementary angles. You can search it up. It's called complementary angles. It's a rule. Basically, sine of x minus 90 is equal to cosine of x. And in this case, it's also vice versa. Cosine of x minus 90 equals sine of x as well. And they said R and S equals 90. So basically, to get the other angle, you have to do that angle minus 90. Or, sorry, my bad, not this. 90 minus x. My bad. So yeah, so to get from R to S, you would have to do 90 minus R to get to S. So like this is basically 90 minus x. Hopefully this makes sense to you. But basically, I'm just using this rule to get the answer. I guess in this scenario, it would be this, huh? Maybe 90 minus x. Basically, it's this formula. And again, vice versa. You can do sine and cosine. You can flip them around. It's always going to hold. And so it should be the same number. Okay. This is a really familiar question, actually. But basically, you just do algebra right here. we need to get this by itself. So we can multiply this over, multiply both sides by the denominator here, and then divide p over. So it would be k divided by p. So this is a. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. Yeah, for these, you can solve these with Desmos, by the way. I'll definitely put a video up that explains that, but you can watch that if you want to. But for this purpose, I'm pretty confident that there's like no way it's not a with equation. Yeah. Okay. It's like algebra in my head real quick. Okay. Oh, graphing time. Y greater than 13x. So I like to speed this up. I try to like guess what the answer is and then just verify it. Be careful since you see this a dashed line and not a solid line, so there's like a holes in this line. That means if a point's on this line, it's actually not a solution. So you have to make sure it's in the shaded region, not on the point. But if this line was solid, it's like here, not solid, now there's like no holes in this line. Now if there's a point on here, then it's okay. But if it's like this, if a point on that line is not okay at all. Like a lot of students mess that up. Or maybe they're careless and forget about it. And they get it wrong because of that. Okay. Corresponding values of y. Okay, so this is, by the way, you can actually put table. You press plus and press table, you can actually get tables. And this is like a lot faster way to type in points as well. And 21, 47, 86. So, and then also what's nice about this table is there's actually a zoom fit button, which like takes you right to the points. And perfect. You see these points are on this line. It would be great if this line was solid, but it's a dash line. So that's not the answer. It's on the line. Let me zoom in just to make sure, because maybe it's like really close, but like, it's actually inside. But no, I think it's definitely on the line. That's not it. Okay. 326, 42, and 86. See, that point's not in, so like immediately you know it's out. Yeah, this point isn't in. That point's on the line, so that's one. Okay. We already said 542 is out. That's not, that can't be. So it has to be this one, right? 326, that's in. 552, that's in, and 91. See, all three of these points are in the shaded region. And they purposely put this answer choice to the last one, knowing that you would probably pick this one first and like try this out and realize that that might be right and you select that. So make sure you know that rule because they're really tricky with that. Like they always put like the, not always, but they put like the one that's less obvious that was actually the right answer, like the last answer choice to make it really complicated. Okay. Line L is defined by 3y plus 12x equals 5. Line N is perpendicular to line L. What is the slope? Okay. By perpendicular is just the opposite reciprocal of the slope. The problem is we don't know the slope of this thing. If that confuses you, I'll explain it. But basically, let's graph this line. 12x equals 5. Here's the line. Okay, let's find the slope of this line. A way you can do this is, what I like doing is using regression. Basically, regression is a way of you getting points and put the points on the table, and then having Desmos calculate the equation of the line from those points for you. So what you can do is do algebra to get this into slope-intercept form to get the slope. Basically, we need the slope, but I'm just going to use points. It's annoying. Okay, I know that decimal is, you could actually just like try it out, but I know it's 7.6 anyways. But like 1.66 repeating is, you can actually turn decimals into fractions and decimals too. You can turn into fraction, it's, oh, sorry. It's 1 here. Yeah, it's 7.6. So that point is 0. Oh, sorry, wait. Sorry, there wasn't a 1 there. I was right. Yeah, it's 5/3. Okay, got it. So this is 0 5/3. And then to this point, 0.416, and 6 is probably repeating. It's just rounded to 6. That's why there's a 7 there. But 4.16 and it's just 0.416. And then press the fraction symbol, 5/12. Yeah, 416. Okay, so this one is 5/12 equals 0. So I graphed the points, and you can make sure those points are right. Yeah, it looks right. So I got those points, and you can actually press this add relate. This is actually a new button on the like the December SAT. This button wasn't there. Now it's here. It's really cool. You press this, and bam, this is -4. Okay, so if you want to get a perpendicular, line N is perpendicular, you have to get the opposite reciprocal of -4. Opposite reciprocal means you flip the sign. So if it's negative, you flip it to positive, and you flip the fraction. So right now it's 4 or 4/1. So you flip the fraction, it's going to be 1/4. basically after you flip the sign, it's gonna be positive, and you flip the like the fraction, it's gonna be 1/4. So it'd be positive 1/4 basically. And you could try it out. Positive 1/4. Let's graph it. Yeah, that looks perpendicular. Perpendicular means it forms a right angle. Like it's like imagine like a corner of a square or a corner of a rectangle. Yeah, that looks perpendicular. So we can make sure we got it right as well. 1/4. Okay, next. In the given equation, D and G are unique positive constants. Cool. They're positive. And by the way, when it says the constants, you could probably make a slider for them. But that's another case. When the equation is graphed in the xy plane, how many distinct x-intercepts? Oh, interesting. Okay. So let's just like graph it and it's like check. Why not? 2, y equals 2, x minus d, x plus d, x plus g, x minus d. Okay. What's that? So again, they're unique positives. Let's make them like random positive integers. And not in, it doesn't even say the whole numbers. It doesn't say the integers. You can just make any number. Okay. So see right there's 3. Well, enough. There's 3. And 1, 2, 3. 3 x-intercept. I think that's it's like touching at one point, right? I'm pretty sure it's touching at one point. There's 3 right there. Okay, let's change it again to see if it's still 3. Yeah, it's still 3. I think 8. It's still 3. So like no matter what, it's always going to be 3 x-intercepts. X-intercepts when you're touching x axis. Yeah, no matter what point, you can do like a million or something. It's still going to be. I think I typed 2 million like that. Yeah, it's still 3. Yeah, I said this quite a lot to get the other one, but it's always going to be 3. Okay, next. All right, let me make sure I typed in the right equation because sometimes I messed up by typing too fast, but I think I did. Okay, next. For the exponential function f, the value of f of 1 is k, where k is a constant. Which of the following equivalent forms shows the value of k? Okay, so whenever it says this type of wording, like shows the value of k as the coefficient or the base, when it says like this type of wording, basically what it's asking you is which one of these equations has the number k in the equation itself. That makes sense. So let's walk you through this. Okay, let's just look at A. Okay, f of x equals 50, 1.6. Okay, notice when you press x plus 1, it's going to put the plus 1 outside of the exponent. To get the plus 1 inside the exponent, I like to do parentheses x plus 1. That way it stays in the exponent. So that's just like a Desmos trick, because you just do plus 1 normally, you're going to get the wrong answer. Okay, let's do f of 1, because we defined f of x, and now we can do f of 1. It's going to tell us what f of 1 equals. So f of 1 equals 128. What this is saying, so we know k, because it says k is this, by the way, k, f of 1 equals k. Remember, replace is with equals, so f of 1 equals k. F of 1 equals, so k is this, 128. And this is asking which equation has k in the equation itself. Basically, is k 50, 1.6, or 1, basically. I mean, not 1, the coefficient is just like the number, so like 50 or 1.6. So it's 50, but it doesn't matter. It's basically look at the numbers in the equation and see if any of these numbers are k. 50, 1.61, no, none of them are k. That's not the answer. Which one has 128? It's C. But let's make sure, because maybe this equation is slightly different. So let's type in C. 128, 1.6 to the power of x, x minus 1. Okay, f of 1 is 128. So when you do f of 1, it's 128, and 128 is in the equation. So that's the answer C. Hopefully that makes sense. You're looking for, when it says this, you have to look for whatever the value it's saying. It's basically asking you which of these equations has that value in the equation itself, like as a number in the equation. And 128 matches the 128 in answer choice C. Okay. The function of g is defined by this. For what value x does it reach its minimum? Okay. This is ridiculously easy. I don't even know why this question is the last one. 4x squared plus 64x plus 262. Okay, so we define f of x now. Now we can make g of x. G of x equals f of x plus 5. For what value x is g? So we're looking at g of x basically. And we need to find which value reaches its minimum on. There's g of x. The minimum value is 6. But when it says, oh shoot, that's not any of the answer choices. I did this wrong, didn't I? Um, g is defined by what value of x? Oh, what value of x My bad. I almost got the answer wrong. So we're looking for like where does it reach the minimum? So you look at the x value, -13. Normally, when it says reach the minimum, you actually look at the y value because like if it says what is the minimum, then you look at the y value. But when it says what value x does it reach its minimum, then you look at the x value. Okay, -13. That should be everything. I have 4 minutes left. Normally I have like 20 minutes left, but I spent my sweet time explaining questions, and hopefully I didn't get questions wrong. Normally, if you were to take this test, I would strongly recommend you to check your answers, like double check every single answer. Try to solve the questions in a different way. Don't just like retrace your steps. By the way, usually that doesn't work because you probably make the same mistake that you made previously. What I would do is like try to find another way to solve the question and see if you get the same answer. And like as much as possible, use Desmos because that would eliminate any type of silly mistakes and things like that. Okay. Hopefully I didn't make silly mistakes. It's 12:47 a.m. right now, so and I had a long day. But I am pretty tired. Hopefully, I didn't make any silly mistakes. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna spend the next 3 minutes like I don't even think it's gonna help though, but I'll just like check my work and then we'll go to the last module. Okay, I just time was over. I didn't check all my answers, but I pretty much checked everything. I think there's like 2 questions I didn't check. Okay, so I'm pretty confident I got everything right. Fingers crossed. Okay, now let's do first module. I might have to hurry. Let me just see like how hard these questions are, so I need to have an idea. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No, these questions aren't hard. Okay, I'm gonna take my time to explain. Okay, let's solve these. Okay, which again, solution this is the equation, you just need to graph it. 4x plus 6 equals 18. Sometimes the math modules are really hard, like the ending, like do like super hard questions. So I need to figure out like if I have enough time to solve those. But I don't think this question's hard. But that means that if you get a question wrong, they're gonna take off a lot more points because like the questions weren't that hard. Okay, which equation has the same solution as the given? So the solution for this one is that 3. So let's just like graph these and see which one has 3. I'm assuming it's C. So you can just, oh, yeah, same solution. That's the answer. Bam. Okay. But you just graph these. You can graph all of them and just see like which one is the same one as the red one. And that's the answer. Okay. Next. Total cost in dollars to lease a car for 36 months from particular car dealership. Is that where X is the monthly payment dollar? What is the total cost? Sorry, I'm not focusing. Lease a car for 36 months from particular car dealership. Okay. Accidental monthly payments. What is the total cost lease car when the monthly payment is $400? Okay, so X is monthly payment, so it really tells you here's X value, what's the Y value. Okay, that's simple enough. As long as you define the function, you can just type in f of some number and it's going to tell you what the f of x equals. So f of 400, it equals 15,400. Okay, next. The graph of 27x plus this is shifted down 5 years. What is the y-intercept? Okay, let's graph it and then shift it down 5 units. So 33y equals 297. Make sure I typed it in right. Yes, I did. And then we can shift this down 2 units. So from 9 it's going to go from 9 to 8 to 7. That's, oh, sorry, 5 units, not 2. So 9 minus 5 is 4. So it's going to go down to here. 0, 4 would be the thing. Okay. Yeah, 9 minus 5 is 4. Okay, we'll move on. Shift it down. Yeah. Okay. But you have to be careful for these. Sometimes it's like after the shift already occurred. Sometimes you have to like reverse the shift. But this case, like it gives you what was before the shift, and you have to do the shift yourself. But it's because sometimes this is like after the shift, and then you have to like reverse engineer the shift and do the opposite. So I just have to make sure. Okay. The function f is defined by f of x. What is the y-intercept? Oh, okay. F of x equals 110x minus 2. We need to find the y-intercept. 0, -2 is tan. It really just tells us lo and behold. Okay. These feel ridiculously easy. The graph shows the relationship between the number of shares of stock company A and the number of shares of stock company B. Which equation? Okay, so let's just graph these and just see which one is the same as the graph. Okay, let me guess which one it is. Y-intercept is 40. That doesn't help, so it's probably not these two. It's probably either B. I'm gonna guess it's. Shoot, my brain isn't. I'm sleep deprived. 60. It's probably B, but let me try. Okay. Um, no, I think it's D. Okay, let me just graph D. 12x plus 8y equals 480. And I need to scroll out till I see it. Oh shoot, I got it wrong. See, I'm sleep deprived. Don't judge. 12. Okay, here we go. 40 and 60. That matches perfectly with this question. Yeah, X is A. Like I'm a bit concerned they might trick you. Oh shoot, yeah, for company A, X and the number of shares company B, company BY. That's weird. Normally, I guess that's okay. I mean, it checks out. Okay, next. Um, what is the solution? Okay, so this is like graphing. X plus 6y equals 25. 5 over 2x plus 6y equals 23. And what is the value of, so let's first find the solution, or like when they intersect, because that's going to give us the x and y value to use. 2, 3. Let me make sure I typed it in right. Yeah. Okay, so 17 over 2. The x value was 2, so let's plug in 2. Okay, and this plus 18 times the y value, which was 3. So let's do that, and the answer was 71. That's good enough. That's the next answer, or next question. Um, what table of values representing f of x minus 3? Okay, so let's graph this. F of x. This is just a pain to do with Desmos, but it's like it doesn't take any brain power. Let's first get this, and then we need to shift this down, and we see which one is the same points as the one shifted down. So let's shift this down, f of x minus 3, and it's going to shift it down for us. Look at the y equals 1, it's the same thing. Okay, yeah, so that's the equation we're looking at now. And then when you see which of these tables has the points, so let's make table, and then let's graph A. Normally when you're guessing like which answer choice is right, you should graph one in the middle answer choices actually. Because like if it's too small, then you know it's A, and if it's too big, then you know it's next to D, and then you can like save yourself for a step. But like that makes sense. But like for this one, I think I could make do with just like using these. Okay, so that's not it. Like that's not on the line. See, that point isn't on that line. So I don't think this is right. This point was what? 4, 4, 1. Okay, so 4, 1 is wrong, basically. Oh, that doesn't help. But let's just graph one point from each of these instead of graphing all of them. So let's try 4 and negative 3. I'm just looking at this point. Oh, that's on the line. What about the rest of the points on this? So 3, negative 3. Oh, they're all on the line, so it's just this. I don't think there's any point in doing more of this. It just has to be that answer choice. Okay, you can zoom in just to make sure. If I come back and have enough time, I'll go back to it and double check that the answer is actually wrong. The other answers are wrong for sure. Okay. Decreases by 45% for every increase in x by 1. Okay. So I feel like we can make an equation here. Q of x decreases by 45% for every increase in x by 1. So, this looks like it sounds like an exponential. So like, if you decrease by 45%, that means it's 1 minus like 100% minus 45%. So this, and then every time x increases by 1. So like 1, this number is gonna decrease by 2, and then function q, the value. Yeah, I think this works. And 1 minus 0.45 is just 5, so this is this. And then Q0 equals, so like the starting number is 14, so that's where they got the 14 from. So like this equation, which is the same thing as C, because like 1 minus 0.45 is 0.55. And then you could try it out too. Like if you didn't know how to solve this, you could try it out. So let's try Q of X equals 14 viewpoints. Like the nice thing about word problems is if it's answer choices with equations in it, you can just like always get the answer right because you can just like try it out. Because it says for every increase in one, it has to decrease the Q of X has to decrease by 45%. So let's try Q of 0, 14, and let's try to increase Q0 by 0 by 1. So Q1, does that number increase by 45%? Let's see, 77, or decrease by 45%, 7.7. So the amount it decreased by was this. Is that 6.3? Is that 45%? So it was 45% of 14. It was 6.3. So that did decrease by 45. So you see, oh, that's the answer then, because it really did what the question said. Okay. A submersible device is used for ocean research. The function gives the depths below the surface of the ocean meters of the submersible. Okay. X minutes after collecting sample. Let's see, how many minutes after collecting would it take for the submersible to reach the surface of the ocean? Let's just graph it and we can just see what's happening. I didn't fully comprehend what I just read because I'm a bit lazy right now, but I think it's good enough. X plus 19, X minus 35. Okay, so this equation, okay, gives the depth of the surface. So when where X, so like X has to be greater than 0, by the way. Like we're looking for positive values of X only. Okay. How many minutes after collecting did it take for this to reach the surface of the ocean? Um, X minutes. So when X is 0, that's when it started. So like it starts here and then it reaches the surface. So this is the depth. So like when it reaches 0, when Y reaches 0, that means like the depth is 0 now. So this will reach the surface right there. And that was 35. That's like X is minutes, so 35. How many minutes? So 35. Okay, simple enough. Next. Cube has a length of 68 inches. A solid sphere with a radius of 34 inside the cube. Okay, such that the sphere touches the center of each face to the nearest inch, which volume, okay, the space in the cube is not taken up by the sphere. So we have a cube, and inside the cube is a sphere. So we can get the volume of a cube, subtract from the volume of the sphere to get the volume that's not the sphere. Okay, so first, get the volume of a cube. Cube is just, this is why it's called cubed, by the way, because you cube it to get the volume of the cube. That's the volume of the cube. And we subtract it from the volume of a sphere. If you don't know the volume of the sphere formula, it should be 4/3 pi, but it's also in the formula sheet. But we know the radius is 34, so we can do 34 cube. And you could check, let's make sure it's actually right. Just click a button, 4/3 pi r cubed. So that's what we just did. And the answer is that number, which is closest to that number, the nearest cubic. So make sure it actually says rounded. If it doesn't say like what's to the nearest cubic inch or like or what is the closest value to or something like that, if it doesn't say to round it, it doesn't imply that the answer needs to be rounded, you probably got it wrong if you didn't get the actual answer. So if you get like a really long decimal like this, you probably got it wrong unless it actually says nearest cube. Then you're safe. Then like it's supposed to be not a whole number. Okay. Yeah, I think I did that right. Next. Sum of the solutions. Oh, that's easy. Let's get the solutions and we add them up. And that's just the sum of the solutions. X plus 1, d6, a single variable equation. So we can just graph it. It can tell us all the x-intercepts or like all the values of x. X, yeah, there's only 2. That's not exciting. Okay. What is like a huge, what is like a big number that I'm like not seeing? I don't think so. I think it's just 2. Okay. We just add these 2 up. So 2.6, so 2.6 repeating, which is actually the fraction 83 plus 7. Okay. Let's add 7 to this one here, plus 7. Answer is 29 over 3. 29 over 3. And you can actually type in decimal, like here's instructions on how to type in the decimal as well, but I'll just type in the fraction. Okay, next. For which of the following values are all the values of x and the corresponding values of y in the, oh, I'm getting deja vu from this question. We literally had this question before. Y and like, it's a different question, but same way to solve it in the first module. Okay. 320, 5, 7, 44, 32. Okay, so those are the points. Let's zoom in on them. Zoom fit. Oh, I swear, what the heck is with this question? They literally like repeat the exact same question. Literally the same. I think the answer for that one was the last one. I don't remember. Okay, but anyways, that's wrong. Those are on the dashed line. It has to be solid for that to work. So let's try 16. Oh, that's in this. That's in 36. That's out, so that's not the answer. 24 I think would be out. Like if this was 24, that would be out. So it's definitely just C. I swear that's the exact same question. Am I tripping? When 40? Yeah, I mean that's the answer. Okay. Let me make sure I read the question right. The solutions, right? When I was asking for like what's not the solution, so yeah, it has to be that. Okay. Did I type in the equation right? Why am I okay? They obviously did that to like confuse you. It's a mental attack to confuse you and like trip you up and break your focus because you recognize the question. Okay, plus y. Don't let it trick me. I'm better than that. What is the diameter? Diameter is just the length. You just get distance from. You always use the max and min, by the way. Don't try using these. Sometimes that messes it up. Or like I mean this one's like pretty obvious to use the max and min. Sometimes like there's the y-intercept, and you might actually confuse the y-intercept with the max. Just be careful. Actually get the max and min. Okay. But the distance between that is 8. You can also do distance. If you didn't know in Desmos, you can actually type in distance, and it would tell you the distance between the 2 points that you put in. So if I put in the point 5, 7, and then this point was 5, -1, 5, -1, sorry, not 1, -1. It's going to tell us it's 8, and that's the diameter. You could also type in midpoint. So instead of distance, I wanted to get the center of the circle. I could type in midpoint, and that would give me the center of the circle, which is really cool. Okay. Anyways, that's the diameter. Next. In the given equation, C is a constant. The equation has exactly one solution. What is the value? Okay, so whenever you see a number solution question and it's a single variable equation, this is really important. You should put these on 2 separate lines. Like you see how this is one equation right now? You need to make it a system equation because it's a number solution question. There's multiple reasons why. I won't go into this in detail because it might take a bit to explain. But if you want to find out why, I'll probably make a video on single variable equations or like number solution questions in the future. You can watch that. Okay, so we have this, and then everything on the left side, one line, everything on the right side, one line, because it's a number solution question. Like it says one solution, so we know it's a number solution question. We need to put these in 2 separate lines. Okay. No, it has to do with how many solutions there are. It's not like what is the solution, it has how many solutions there are. So that's how you know it's number solution question. What is the value of C? And we're looking for one solution. So this is answer choices. Let's use the answer choices. 3 does not, they're crossing 2 times. Solutions like anytime they're intersecting. That's one. No. So it's like definitely a low number. -25. Bam. And that's when there's one solution. Yep. So let's see. Next. In triangle YXZ, angle Y is a right angle. The measure of angle Z is 33, and the length of YZ is 26. I'm getting confused. If the area and square units of the triangle XYZ can be represented by the... Okay, fine. Let's draw it out. You win. I had to draw it out. Um, uh, okay. Is my time fine? I think I'm okay. Okay, so we know it's a right triangle, so let's draw a right triangle. And then Y is the right angle. Measure of Z. So let's just say this is X and this is Z. Okay, so we know this is Z. So we know this is 33 degrees, 33, and then we know YZ, this one is 26. Got it. If the area and square units of this can be represented by the equation, by expression. Okay, well, k is a constant. What is the value of, so area is, oh, I see what so area is base times height, times 1/2. That's the, so like the base is 26, the height is that number. So basically it's just this times that length. So we find this length, we can get the area. So let's find the equation of area, basically. I find the equation. So what they did was tangent SOHCAHTOA. So tangent TOA SOHCAHTOA, TOA TOA. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So the opposite of this angle, make sure you know your tricks. So opposite of this angle is x. So tangent of 33 equals opposite over, so x over 26. Adjacent is the one next, so 26. You can't see that. Okay. And then what they did, so it's this tangent of 33 times, so they have to get x by itself. So you have to multiply 26 over. That would be 26 tangent of 33. That way you can get x by itself. So we multiply that over, was the eraser. That would just be x by itself on that side. And then we could do x times 26 now. So we know this is x. You know this is x. And then this times 26 would be the area. And then divided by 2. If you remember that. So it would be 26 squared divided by 2. That should be the answer. But anyways, we could just do that real quick. So 26 squared divided by 2. So the answer should be 238. I'm actually not that confident because I didn't solve with Desmos. I'm not sure if I should worry about this at all. You know what, it's fine. We'll say 238. I'll definitely come back. I'm not gonna review it just so I can double check it. But that's how you solve it. Okay, I might have made a mistake somewhere. The regular price of a shirt at a store is that the sale price is 80% less than regular price. Okay. So this 11.70. If we need the 80% less, that means 1 minus 80% to get the amount that's left after it decreases by 80%. So the amount that's left after you decrease by 80% is 0.2. Okay, so you multiply 0.2. So that's the amount that's left, is less than the regular price. Okay. And the sale price is 30% greater than the store's cost. Hold up, I lost, what? Okay. Is 30% greater. So this is the sales price, and this is 30% greater than the store's cost for the shirt. What's the store cost? Okay. And so is, again, if you see is, replace that with equal signs. Sale price equals 30% greater. So this number has to be bigger. So we multiply 1.3 because like it starts with 100% and then you increase, well, you take the original amount and you increase it by 30%. So some number times 1.3 would equal this basically, because you want to increase this number by 30% to get to this storyteller. So we just need to find it's a single variable equation. What is x? It's 1.8, so that's the answer. Okay. I didn't verify this question. Probably wait. I can like work backwards and see if I get the same answer. So I might review in case I somehow run out of time and I like only have like a few questions I can double check and I can prioritize that. Okay, A, B, C, and D, E, F. Angles B and E each have, oh, so this is proving triangles. Okay. So we know B and E. Okay, have that. C, and so we're trying to prove congruency. Congruency, there's 4 things to prove. Is SAS. Actually, I'll just list them using this. SAS, ASA, AAS, and SSS. If it's one of these, so like side angles, like this, you pick the side, the angle next to that side, and the side next to that angle. If you know those, and like the 2 triangles, they're all matching. Like the side, this side is matching for both triangles. This angle is the same amount for both triangles. This side is the same amount for both triangles. Then the 2 triangles are congruent, meaning they're the same triangle. And I know I can remember this really easily because you just remember the SAT is PG. It's like there's no ASS in the SAT. So that's how so like every other combination except for AAA. AAA is similarity, so that's how you prove similar triangles. So AAA is similar triangles, and SAT is PG, so there's no ASS, and every other combination in the book is can prove congruency. And that's how you remember that really easily. Okay, so 27% in angles C and F each have measures 41. Okay, so we know C and F. Okay, which additional piece is sufficient to prove? Let's draw out these because we might make a silly mistake somewhere, and I don't want that. And again, if that was confusing with the ASS like stuff like that, then just I'll make a video on it eventually. You can watch that, or you can search it up. I search up proving congruency, and you can figure that out yourself. Okay. Um, so I won't draw both of them. I'll just draw like what I need. So we know, let's say this is A, B, C. We know B, we know C. What we need is BC then, because that would be angle side angle. That's enough. So BC, side lengths of BC, yeah. And then what would correspond to BC? It would be EF, so that would be good enough. Okay, so we needed like to get angle side angle, we needed the side in between the two angles, and this would give us that. So that would be the answer. Sufficient to determine that they were congruent. Okay, 10 minutes left, and there's like what 5 questions, so I think we're okay. 1, 2, 3. Wait, yeah, 5 questions, right? Yeah, 5 questions. Okay. 48x minus 72y equals 30y plus 24. Ry equals 1/6 minus 16x. Okay, we need to get no solutions. Let's move the side over into the no solutions. Negative 20, 25, wait, 30, 35, 34. 34 looks okay. Like that looks pretty much like the right answer. Okay, 48 minus 72. So we're just looking for like when they're never touching because it says no solution. Just move the side into it. That happened. Yeah, negative 34. Okay, next. Which of the following expressions has a factor? Okay, so here's a cool thing about factors on Desmos. If they have the same factor, that means they have the same x-intercept. So what you do is you graph this, and then you graph um, the all of these answer choices, or you just graph like whatever you think is the answer, and see if they have the same x-intercept. If they do, that means they're factors. Like this is a factor. So it's really easy. You don't have to do anything. It makes it super simple. 14b. Look at this. Where is that? See, they don't have the same x-intercept. If they have the same x-intercept, we knew that was factor. It's not that. And I'm assuming this like decreases, so I'm just gonna pick like C. I'm just joking. I'm just like guessing which one's right. But I'm like it's probably 40. Okay. Um, has a factor. So if we move, oh, I feel like, I mean that has a factor. Would B is a positive? Okay, the B is a positive integer. I think I read that wrong. So I think there's multiple. I don't like we have to look for one of them where there's a possible value where B is a positive integer that there's a factor. So if B is 6, are they factors? No. What about B is 5? No. 4? No. 3, 2, 1? No. So I don't think it's C. So I'm just looking for a positive integer that makes it possible that they have the same. And then 7, 8. I think this can floating for the apart. So no, it's not C. Okay. I should eliminate A then. I didn't understand the question. 28x plus 14b. Let's try that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I don't think they ever work. Okay, so let's try D. Please don't be A. Like I feel like okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7. Yeah, they have the same x-intercept, right? Same x-intercept. Perfect. It's D. It wasn't A. Okay, good. I actually eliminated it correctly. It feels like I just could have got the answer really quickly, if I didn't do that. Okay, but it was D, so all was good. The perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 624 centimeters. The height of this is that. Okay. Time to break out the drawing board. Equilateral triangle means all the sides are the same. Also means all the angles are the same. So if a triangle adds up to 180, if we know all the angles are the same, that means we just do 180 divided by 3. So all the angles are 60. Okay, so that would be helpful for this question as well. So 624, by the way, when you see square root of 3, you should immediately go like, oh, I should use the special right triangle rule, 30, 60, 90 triangle, because I had square root of 3. So that's a cool tip. If you see square root of 3 in triangle, the question, you probably have to make a 30, 60, 90 triangle somewhere. Hopefully you understand that relationship. Okay, it's in the formula sheet too, so you don't really have to memorize it, but I would memorize it. Okay, equilateral. So if the perimeter is 2624 or 624, then we can just divide the perimeter by 3 to get the side lengths, right? So 624 divided by 3, that would be 208. I might need to work a bit faster. It seems like we're running out of time. I don't have time to check my answers either. Like normally I would. I would have had time to check my answers many times for it, but 206 is each of these lengths. Okay, so if we go out of triangle, you should just notice if you split it down, you can make it 30, 60. Because this is 60. If you split the 60 in half, that would be 30. This is 90. So that's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And this would be 2x as the hypotenuse. This is longer than that. So this is x, by the way, and this is x square root of 3. Okay, so what is x? X is 104 because like 2x has to equal 208. So we just take half of this as 104. The height of this is k. So that means 104 times square root of 3 because x is 104. So 104 times square root of 3 would have been the height. So we just put 104 here. Hopefully I did that right. I might have messed up somewhere, but hopefully not. Let's keep on going. Okay. For each, this was a question in like practices 2 or something, like one, I think it was practice 3. It was the last question, question 22, practices 3. I remember this question, so I know how to solve this. But basically, the idea behind histograms is that um, it's a range. So from 20 to 30, it can be any number between 20 and 30. Actually, it says equal to 10 but less than 20. So it's equal to the leftmost, but like the integer less than the 31 because it says these are integers. So basically, any number between 20 and 29 can make this go up by 1, and make this bar go up by 1. So like this could be actually is 3 in here, but there could be 3 29s, or there could be 3 20s, or it could be like 2 20s and 1 25 and like some other that's 3, but you get the idea. Like as long as any number falls in between that range, it just checks up to 1. So this is testing you on the idea that there can be multiples. So there could be like it could actually be like a lower number than what you expect, or it could be like a really high, or it could just be like what you expect. So like, basically, we're trying to find the smallest possible difference. To work at the smallest possible difference, you would have to get um, the smallest. So like this one's obviously this mean is probably going to be smaller than this one because like this one is higher because mean is just the average of everything. So like the mean here is around here, the mean here is around here. This one is just going to be bigger than this one naturally. So if we want to get the smallest possible mean, we should get the bigger number should be has to be small as possible, and the small number has to be big as possible, so that the difference between the two will get as small as possible. So what is the smallest possible mean of this? We could just do the mean formula is literally just like the total of everything. So the smallest possible number for this one would be 20, right? Because 20 equals to 20, and then there will be 3 of them times 3. And then I'm just gonna get like the total amount of numbers and add all of them up, and then divide it by how many numbers I added up. So there would be 3 20s plus 4. Hopefully I explained that. I'm kind of in a rush though. 430 and then 7 times shoot. There's only 3. Okay, I hate that time. Plus uh and then 50. So 950. I think it's just 1 because I just know how this works out. This is 23, so we just divide it by 23. That would be the number. And then we can do the highest possible number for these. So 19 times 3 and plus 29 times 4 plus 39 times 7 plus 49 times 9, all divided by 23. And you see that this minus that is equal to 1. So the answer is 1. Hopefully that makes sense. We're moving on. Okay. A total of 803 voters selected at random were asked which candidate they would vote for in an election. According to the poll, if 6,000 to 400, this is a generalization problem. For these problems, you have to get a test statistic. So basically, they did like a sample to figure out, so try to estimate like a result. So let's first figure out. We need to figure out Andrew Cruz be expected to win. So we actually need to get like Terry Crews and Andrew Cruz and subtract the two to get how much this guy won by. It's not just like what this guy has, but like how much he be expected to win. How many points would that you win by. So first, let's get like the percentages from, because we know it was 803 total. So 43 divided by 803, that would equal this 0.6. So we multiply that by 6,424. That would give us the expected amount of votes that Andrew Cruz has, and we subtract it from the expected amount of votes that. Sorry, I'm in a rush, and if I'm explaining this poorly, my fault. But yeah, the answer is B then. Okay, so the statistic, you calculate it, you get, so they're basically using this sample to predict how many people will win from this. They can't like survey all 6,424 people. So they first get like 803 people, it's like easier thing. They randomly select them, and then they get how many, like what percentage of the 803 people voted for each person, and then they like, since it was a random sample, it was completely random, they can generalize that. So like whatever percentage of people voted for Andrew Cruz, they could then, it makes sense that it's reasonable to assume that that same percentage of the 6,424 people would vote for Andrew Cruz. And same thing for Terry Smith. So then they can use that percentage. That's what I did here. I got the percentage, and then I use that percentage to multiply to the actual population with the actual number. It's like guesstimate what approximate is like the actual outcome, and then we subtract the two. Okay. Uh, I didn't have time to check my work, so if I get a question wrong, I blame it on that. But I probably made a silly mistake somewhere. 20 seconds left. Okay, this is my fault. I should have like explained a bit faster. It's okay. Let's hope and pray that I got lucky. We'll see if I got 800 and didn't break my streak, because I basically always get 800. Okay, and Sophie says 1560. Oh, I got a math question wrong. No, no. Okay, I wanted to look at the 4 questions I got wrong and go over them. So that way you can still see how I would solve these questions and actually get the right answer this time. So let's look at this question. Okay. I remember this question. I chose this because I thought it was like two things like this happened in the past. So when two things happen in the past, you put had in front of the thing that happened first. And I thought like this was the thing that happened earlier. So like this is the thing that happened first. So you put had in front of this one. Or at least that's what I thought. But that was wrong. So let's try solving this. Um, I don't think I actually understood what was going on in the sentence. Like when I go to verify grammar questions, and like I'm not sure if I got the right answer, I always try to make sure I understand what the grammar question is saying, because that should give me context on like what's additional information and what's not, and I would put the commas and things like that. So English poet and Shakespeare contemporary John Donne's works, much admired during his lifetime and in the decades that followed, had at the time. So that's definitely additional information. So there should be a comma there, right? So this is additional information, so you offset that with commas, because it's like not really part of the sentence, it's just there. So whenever you have this information like this, you have to put a comma before and after it. So probably just C, because you don't put like a, there's no point in the, like the word there is like unnecessary. It just goes, this is additional information, and that's the additional information. You don't need like a word there. Unless this is the, no, but if that was like, you can't start a sentence with a word. So, and C then, right? Let me just make sure. So, Danton's works, much admired during his decades that followed, had, at the time of the enthusiastic rediscovery, okay, been essentially gathering dust. Okay, so I think I actually understand what's going on here. This is supplements, this additional information. So you put comma before and after. This is also additional information. The actual sentence, like the actual independent clause, and like the what's not additional information is just this had been. So the had been's already here actually. So there shouldn't be another had been. Does that make, like the had been's already in here, and then like everything else is additional information. And had been, that's the verb. That's the actually yeah, it's the main verb. Like that's what the work is doing. The work is the subject, and this is the main verb. Essentially gathering dust and viewing 250 years. That makes sense. This is a disinformation. You shouldn't put a like a verb there because there's no need for that verb. It's just like that's disinformation, and that's the information. So you don't put a verb, like unnecessary verb there. So it's C then, right? Yeah, it's C. Okay, perfect. Let me go to the next question I got one. I think I got the open representation question one. So yeah, this one. Okay, this one was really confusing. Let's try this out. The student wants to repeat the claim that malappointment, I think it's okay if we don't know what that means. I might figure it out. Malappointment in the sorting favors small urban districts. So refute the claim. So we have to make sure it doesn't favor small urban districts. Okay. Less popular rural districts are disproportionately. So less popular rural districts is the opposite of small urban. So urban means a lot of people, like it's a city. So a lot of people in that district, and it's small. So like the land is small, but there's a lot of people like compacted in that land. Um, in the other case, less popular districts, they're bigger, but there's less people in there. So it's like the people are way more spread out than urban districts. It's the exact opposite of small urban districts. Are disproportionately underrepresented in this sorting, creating an unfair advantage for smaller. Oh, yeah, is that's unfair? So they're saying there's an advantage for smaller, for more popular urban districts. This actually supports the claim, not refute this. That's wrong. A is not right. Okay. It's untrue that malappointment in the 169 seat voting favors small urban districts. Okay. Rather, the formula for yeah, that's right. Like that's supporting the claim. Rather, the formula for distributing seats overrepresents. Wait, that doesn't make sense. It overrepresents is a that means it favors, right? Because like if yeah, if these guys get overrepresents means these guys have more power. So that's actually favors. So this is wrong. Like this second part is wrong. It should say underrepresents more popular. That's why it's wrong. Like this contradictory. Like this, the first sentence is like close to what we're looking for, but second, it just goes. This is just wrong. What I highlighted is wrong. Okay. A common feature of representative governments, malappointment occurs when so that's nothing about like small urban districts. So that's just wrong. Okay. Like nothing was like yeah, what I just said. Awarding more points per unit of land than points per resident. The formula for distributing voting seats overrepresents less popular districts with large tracts of land. So we eliminated the other one. We knew for sure they were wrong, so it has to be D. Let me make sure I comprehend this right. Overrepresents less populated. So less populated, we said that was the opposite. So overrepresents, as we said earlier, it means like it's actually good for them. Like they have more power to overrepresent it. That's popular. So that makes sense actually. If less popular rural districts, the exact opposite of small urban districts, if these people have more power, that naturally means that these people will have less power. Makes sense. And what it says with awarding more points per unit of land than points per resident. Yeah, so that would be not in favor for small urban districts, right? Because if small urban districts, they have small land and lots of people. So they'll get fewer points because people are worth less. Like this is worth less, and this is worth more, and they don't have much land. So that would be bad for them. It's like the more points they don't have, and then the less points they have a lot of. So that's bad. So it's D. And I actually didn't need to be the blue points at all for this question. I kind of just assumed malappointment meant um like voting stuff, like getting more power in voting. So I was able to answer the question about getting blue points. I think it's D. Please be. It is D. Nice. Okay, we're good. Next question was a question I just skipped. I didn't even have time to go through it. That's my poor pacing. It was this question. So let's try answering this one. Okay, let me read this. I'm gonna read the entire thing. In the study, wait, are we trying to support? Yeah, we're trying to support. Okay. Sometimes it says weekends. You have to look out for that. In the study of evolution of DPA and DP encodes antimicrobial peptides that combat pathogens and foster beneficial microbes in fruit flies. Okay. Assessed resistance to infections by this. Okay, that's what they're doing. Subject flies identified by mutation silencing. Oh, silencing. So they're like getting rid of DPTA termed AB. So okay, so like when it says A here, that's actually when like A isn't there because it's silenced A. Not like A is the only one. No, that's when it says type A, that means there's A isn't there and like B is there though. Okay. And in conjunction with your observations that resistance to B correlates with DPTA, but it's not significantly. Okay, so P retrograde. So they were testing two things, right? They were testing um this Vetq and a Secra Y, whatever. And this one's saying this one correlates with DBA activity. So again, that's actually meaning B, right? So like type B. So when it silenced A, when they silenced B, actually the A activity went up. Okay, so that's okay, got it. But it's not significantly affected by B activity. Data in the graph of survival rates post A infection suggests that. So it says right there that this graph has to do with the this one. Okay. You have to keep in mind like something of this as well, because it's in conjunction. Okay. So this graph, we can see a different trend here. This black line is high, it's days after infection, survival rate. So their survival rate is higher, but it seems to be more effective, like this black line, than these, because they died off really quickly. And this one is still staying up. So type A, remember type A is when they silence it. So it's actually type B it's actually the DPTB that's working here. So my answer in my head, like what would support this? Something about, since A worked for this one and B didn't work, and for this one, for the the S one, B is working and A doesn't work. You see A, when they silenced B, so A is the only one working, that didn't work. So it's kind of like specialized, right? It's like specifically A is targeting this, and B is targeting this. So that's what we're looking for in here. A confers defense against this regardless. No, we're looking for A doesn't actually. A doesn't work because like when they silenced A, it worked. So A doesn't work. Um, and B protects against only one bacteria, was against multiple species. No, I don't think any of them works. It's more like one thing specialized for one thing, for one. So A specialized for this and B specialized for this. It's not like one thing works for both. B may have developed a specific defense. Yes, just like in here in this graph, B doesn't work for this one, and it only works. It works really well for this. So it's specialized for this. So I think it's C. And let me make sure these one defense against A is strongest when both. No, like when they're both present. Actually, we don't know that. Um, like none of these is when they're both present. It's either they silence both of them or they silence this one or silence that one. We don't know that at all, so you can't prove that with the graph. So it has to be C. Yes. Oh wait, I got this question right. That was a lucky guess. Now you know how I solved this question. I guessed this question. Sorry, what question did you get wrong? Um, okay, it was 11. Okay, let me try this question. Okay, which finding, if true, would most directly support Parody's argument? In the 20th century, ethnographers made a concerted effort to collect Mexican American folklore, but they did not always agree about the origins. Okay, scholars such as Aurelio claim that Mexican influence derived largely from the folklore of Spain. Okay. They're collecting a bunch of these and they're debating on like what's happening. Like where they got the folklore from, or like where they came from. And what is now the software USA from this. Okay. So basically like Spain used to be in here and that's where the folklore came from then. It just came from like the Spain that used to rule Mexico. And what is okay, yeah. Okay. Scholars such as by contrast argue that while some Spanish influence is undeniable, so it's acknowledging this part. Mexican American folklore is mainly the product of the ongoing interactions of various cultures. So it's more just like a bunch of like the various varying cultures affected this, not Spain. It's just like the other cultures around that area, rather than Spain being there and being gone affected it. Okay. The folklore that the ethnographer collected in several songs but in the form of decimal typical origin English. This is about Spain, so that would weaken, right? We're trying to say it's mainly folklore it's mainly from other cultures from Spain. That's the opposite we're looking for. Much of the folklore that Alphonse connected has similar elements from region to region. Didn't I choose this answer? Much of the folklore that Alphonse collected. I feel like this is the answer, no? maybe the reason why this is wrong is because like region to region, we don't know if the region, and maybe the region is just like inside the same place, right? It's not like region to region, like region in one culture and region in another culture. I think it's like within the same culture, region to region. That's why it's wrong. So that doesn't prove it. Maybe I'll find what the right answer is, then we can debate why B is wrong. Most of the folklore that the ethnographers collected was previously unknown. I don't see how that supports or disproves anything. So I don't think so. Collected was meant previously unknown. Like that doesn't matter that it's new folklore. We didn't figure out like what the origin of it came from. Most of the folklore so it has to be D then, right? Most of the folklore that ethnographers collected consists of this, by history and social life. Particularly recent. Okay, this is why. D is right because it's recent origin. Yeah, so like Spain was a long time ago, which was from 16th, 19th century. So if it was recent origin, that must mean that it didn't come from Spain because Spain left already when it's recent. That's why it's D. And I think B is wrong because of what I just said. Like the region to region doesn't mean culture to culture. It just means within that culture, there's a bunch of regions that have similar elements. But maybe Spain was like all those regions. So that's not good enough to prove this. And D does. Okay, this one's tricky. Make sure it's D. Yeah, it was D. Okay. That's all for the reading comprehension questions I got on. And I also went through the questions that I got lucky and I guessed right. Okay. Let's talk about the one math question that I got wrong. Okay. The graph shows the relationship between the number of shares of stock in company A, X, okay, this is X value, and the number of shares of company B, Y. What's the equation represents this relationship? Okay, let's graph these. I'm curious to see how the heck I got this question wrong. Okay, so um, we can graph all of them just to be plus 12. No, you see, like that's not even the same thing as this line, which represents relationship. And like this is the graph that shows that relationship. So this isn't even close to that graph. So we need to make sure that like one of these is the same as that graph. This one's not right. No. Okay, wait, let me keep it there. I'll just turn it off. Okay. 8x plus 12y equals 40. Okay, that looks promising. Yeah, so 40 at top, check. 60 at the bottom, check. Is it not b? Huh? Y equals 12x plus 8. No, that's a positive, so that's not even close. It's not. Okay, 12x plus 8y is 480. That says 60, not 40. That's wrong. I say 40 at the top. Like the y value, the y-intercept must be 40. So it's B, right? Did I say D for some reason? Why the heck did I say? Okay. I have no idea what came over me when I said D. That was a really dumb mistake. And that happens sometimes. And I'm sure if I rechecked my work, I would have gotten this right, but I didn't have no time. But yeah, that happens sometimes. So you just have to graph the equation, see which one was the same as this graph. But honestly, reading writing, I'm pretty happy with this score, 1560. And I mean, you saw this is my one for 15 to 60. Hope this is my one for the SAT, and I got a 1560. You see, I got 1520 last time. I got a perfect score in math, but I ran out of time on English. And same thing here. So I definitely need to work on my time management when I'm explaining questions. It's a bit tough because I tend to like go off on a tangent. Okay, I think I'm gonna do more of these. I'll do practice 9, practice 10. Let me know how if this helped or not. I can keep on doing more. And hopefully this helped because I made this because it helped me a lot when I was studying for the SAT. Like this type of content is like seeing how somebody else would solve these questions. And so hopefully this helps. And you could like probably hopefully learn some new strategies that you didn't know before. And next time you take a practice test or like on your next SAT, you'll do better than you would have done if you hadn't watched this video. Thank you.